It is getting pretty wild out here in these NFL streets. Man, social media is going crazy. I'm expecting some big news to happen really, really soon. But let's get it cracking. Yo, no maniacs, super no maniacs, all in between. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night, man. Listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all tonight, man. If you guys seen the video I did earlier, you can probably detect the kind of anxiety that I have right now. I get like this every season, but since I'm so invested now, we are so invested now, it just doubles up on you, man. And it's a lot of news breaking, big, huge news breaking all over the league right now. The dominoes are definitely starting to move, man. They're going around, and it's just a matter of time before it runs into Chicago, and it's going to be a domino to fall. It'd be nice if it happened tonight on the show, but you never know, man. Big, huge deals talking about, Pittsburgh signing a huge wide receiver, Myles Garrett all the stuff. We're going to get into all of it tonight. And I don't know, maybe FFG is planning on coming here in a few. He'll be here in a few. You have to take care of something, and he's going to join the show. But man, oh man, oh man. Every few minutes, kids, I'm constantly refreshing the damn Twitter machine, man. Constantly, just to see what's happening next. Every few minutes, it seems like there's new news. But man, it's a lot going on. And thank you guys for being here, everybody that's in the chat right now. And as people start filing in, we're gonna have a good show tonight, man. We're gonna have a good time as we always do on these shows. Gonna have fun. But it's down to business now, man. We're about to. This is transaction time, kids, man. It's gonna be some moves. Might not be the moves everybody wants, but it's definitely gonna be some movement, man. Definitely gonna be some movement.
You said it. It's on and cracking now, y'all. It's on and cracking now. All kinds of madness going on in the NFL. We're gonna chop it up and talk about all that stuff. You're gonna get your inaugural Nomad at Night on Kedz the Canuck, right? On YouTube. By all means, check me out on the YouTube channel. You can stream this from there as well. Both places, we are multi-streaming in full capacity. I love it. That being said, bro, give a little bit of love to the folks who are in with us early. Jay Grizz is out there in with us early. Marco King, what it do, Marco? Timothy Basemore, what's cracking? Black Diamond just jumped in. The hairiest bear, Gooch. Vizzo Joe Vizzo, what's going on, Joe? Just jumping in. Hey, man, we're gonna keep it real and run it down the line and talk about what could be cracking and what should be cracking, because things are going to be a little bit crazy. It's been crazy all day today, hasn't it?
All day, man. Like I can't get away from Twitter right now because I'm constantly refreshing. This is the only break I'm getting from Twitter right now, just being live on the show, communicating with you all, and just rapping with y'all, man. But Lord, how about this, man? Let's just jump right on into it, and we'll just take every single situation at it, just on its face, man. Let's just deal one guy at a time, one player at a time, one situation at a time. Let's start with one Myles Garrett. I mean, we had a couple of words backstage, man. Go ahead and share what you think about the Myles Garrett move. The whole, if you know what the deal is, I know it was like what 250 was it? I don't
care. It's a bunch of money. It's funny because we started chopping it up in the back. We're getting hype about it, and we had to cool our jets. You know what I mean? Because like we got a show, and we would have just went off in the background. And the point is, let's share it with y'all. So I don't know. Long story short, like Myles Garrett was getting paid before this. He's now getting paid a heck of a lot more. Moral of the story. As the weekend has gone through, Myles Garrett was like, this ain't popping right. I need to talk to Jimmy Haslam. And Jimmy Haslam was like, I'm not talking. I ain't talking to him. Tell him I'm busy. Anyways, so that's kind of how things went through. But then you get a little bit of wind that they went back and restructured some of Deshaun's money, right? So once they did that restructuring with Deshaun, it was more or less a done deal for them to go right back to Myles Garrett and say, hey, here's the bag. We don't want you to go. Because I think that was really the consensus from their camp all along. And let me be clear now. As much as I would love that monster as a part of the monsters, I'm glad he ain't. I'm also real glad he's not a Viking or a Green Bay Packer or a Detroit Lion. Because I know the Lions were chomping at the bit. There was a lot of words talking about potentially, them throwing a bag of Myles Garrett and bringing him on. Hey, man, he gets to stay over there. Their QB sucks. I'll say that out loud. They've got problems all over the place in Cleveland. So cool. I'm so happy he's going to stick around in Cleveland. He's not really chasing that ring that everybody really expected him to be chasing. And that works out so well for the rest of the NFL. What do you think, Nomad?
Well, first of all, when I think about Myles Garrett, I'll just keep him way 100 with you, man. No sane person in the world would not want their team to go after that football player. That's a game changer right there. He changes everything. The minute he steps onto the field, he changes it all. Number one. But
he said Justin Fields in one game more times than most of our defensive ends have gotten sacks in full seasons.
I mean, he's a scheme eraser, man. Forget what you had planned out on paper, whatever you was coached up to think, and this dude is gonna wreck everything when it at the right time too. That's what's great about Myles Garrett. That's why he's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is because it's timely, the timeliness of when he makes plays. Anybody in the world would want, like, of course, I'd have been like, oh yeah, let's go make a move for him. It's gonna hurt us. It's gonna hurt us as far as our draft prospects go. But if you make a move like that and you're Chicago, I'm pretty sure they were on the phone. It should have been 31 teams on the phone trying to get him. You know what I mean? And Chicago better had been in that conversation. What we'd have gave up would have been enormous. But you can move other pieces that you have around and somewhat, make up for it, in other areas. And you have to draft a little bit better a little bit later. You might not have those high early picks. You got to get better late in the draft. That means your scout's eye is going to have to be really good. But hell yeah, we should have been on the phone trying to get Myles Garrett here. But in from the standpoint where you come from, I can understand why they didn't do it. And, in hindsight, it's easier and it's nice. You can breathe a little bit because we got to keep all of our draft capital. And that's all everybody's thinking about, plus how much money you're going to have to pay him, But that's all said and done now. He's going to stay in Cleveland. But it would have been nice if we'd have got that monster here, man. It would have been nice. And if Ryan Poles is worth his salt, they could have regrouped and got some more draft picks. They would just have to been better later on in the draft getting picks. That's all.
Well, traditionally, those later picks are really diamonds in the rough, and you got to sift through and figure out and filter and find. I'm just glad that, we did keep the capital. I'm even more glad that he's still in the AFC. I'm even more glad that he's still with Cleveland because, like I'm saying, I don't really see – and we'll see what this draft looks like realistically, but I don't see much of a future for Cleveland. They got to do a lot of things over there to turn that situation around. They had a beautiful situation and they went all in, all the chips on the table to get Deshaun. And that has been an absolute mistake. I wish I could call it something better or worse, but we'll call it what it is. It was a mistake. Did not pan out. So now they got to backpedal and try and figure out what and how to get around all this to become viable once more. That defense is stout. It is, but that's based on Myles Garrett. If he goes, they got to start all over with the defense too. So I think they did the right thing. They made the right moves. And now it's really, as far as Cleveland is concerned, it's up to a great draft, right? They have to have another really great draft to potentially build around what they have. And, is what it is over there, unfortunately. So I'm just super glad that he didn't wind up in a Lions jersey, a Packers jersey, or a Vikings jersey.
Well, yeah, everybody do me a favor. Everybody that's in the chat live and watching the show, everybody that wants to chat live and are watching the show, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button. You can come in here and live chat with us and kick it. Hang out with the community, man. Just hit the subscribe button and jump right on up in here and have a good time with us, man. But last thing on this Myles Garrett thing. Now, this is talking about Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised if they double down on Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't be surprised because I know what kind of football player Deshaun Watson is. And I know what I've been seeing so far in Cleveland when it comes to Deshaun Watson. There's something that's off. It ain't so much, I don't think it's the football player. I think it's the scheme, the schematics there. Something's going on in that regard that's throwing him off. I can go down a bag of things. I mean, just the RPO that he would prefer to be running in shotgun and that formation. That's not how Cleveland's built. Cleveland's built as a running team with Nick Chubb leading the way, but I don't know if they bring him back. It might look different with Nick Chubb out of the building and not being a run-focused team. That team might look a little bit different if Deshaun Watson gets exactly what he wants and gets it going in a way, if they're in the kind of format that he's comfortable with. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already locked into him. What are you going to do? You might as well double down and get something out of it. Give him what he wants. Get the scheme and get the schematics in the way that he wants it, and then you get to really see who Deshaun Watson is. I wouldn't be surprised if they do just that in the offseason, and they felt like, bringing this guy does give us an opportunity to win. It's a well-built team, kids. It's a very well-built team. They've got studs all over that team. Now, getting to that next level with this quarterback, that's the only problem. But they could not afford to let Myles Garrett off that roster. They feel like they're in a playoff Super Bowl contending window. Maybe that's delusional.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just telling you, if you look at the talent on the roster, man, they've got it.
Yes. I wish I could argue with that statement. They have been perennial, much like the Bears. They've been perennially bad. And in some cases, when you have been perennially bad, you get access to the top 10 of the draft year after year after year after year after year after year after year. Like Myles Garrett was a number 1 pick. Deshaun Watson in himself was a pretty top high-end pick too, right? So I know that came via trade, but the rest of their team is pretty high draft picks. They really and truly are. So the talent is there. I'm just not sure Deshaun. Yeah, Black Diamond. Yeah, man, Deshaun is trash. Stop it. I just don't think he has it in him anymore, right? And that's really where we are. I think he just simply doesn't have it in him. Maybe he finds it again. I can't say that he never had it, because he definitely did, but we ain't seen it for a while, and it sure doesn't. I mean, when Joe Flacco at almost 40 years old comes back and does the darn thing, and he looks better under center than you do, something's fishy in Denmark. You know what I mean? Something's fishy in Cleveland. I don't know what's going on, but I can't sit here and say that Deshaun, the Deshaun we're seeing is the Deshaun of old, because it just ain't.
Well, give me a thumbs up, FFG, when you feel like you're ready to jump in. All right, I'll get you in just 1 second. Let me get this off. But yeah, man, I've seen this kind of stuff before where it looks like, everybody wrote off Baker Mayfield. They wrote off Sam Darnold. People do that because we turn out to be prisoners of the moment. Is what we are. Some funny comments in here, by the way. Y'all keep them coming. I got some the questions. I'm trying to start as many questions as I can, whatever I see. But some funny comments about Deshaun Watson. I seen one that said he got hurt while he was rehabbing. He got hurt again while he was doing it. And one of them said he got hurt while he was getting another massage. That's wild, man.
Numbers is real good in there. Watson sold his football soul to them masseuses.
Hey, I would not count on Deshaun Watson is too talented.
What's up, FFG?
What's up, y'all?
What's going on, man? You heard the show so far?
Yeah, I'm catching up, man. I had to get some nourishment in my system before I can hop on camera.
Well, we were just talking about we trying to take one little move at a time. We're talking about Myles Garrett getting signed to Cleveland. He didn't go anywhere, and ended up talking about Deshaun Watson. But yeah, that's where we are, man. If you got any takes on that, go ahead.
I wasn't thinking the Bears were going to get him anyway, so for us, it's not really it's a non-factor basically, because we wasn't finna trade a bunch of draft picks away where we have to build in the trenches, things like that. So I mean, it's probably easier to get, Hendrickson just by swapping picks in the first round than it would ever been to get Myles Garrett, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Well, let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. Let's get to the next guy because
so while you're pulling that up and lining that up, 2 poutine comments have come my way in the chat. First off, no poutine for me today. We're on Sunday, Sunday foods today, mostly brunch and then a sandwich. Outside of that, you're damn straight. McDonald's does have poutine in Canada. By the way, the absolute worst poutine you will find in the country is living at the McDonald's. So we'll just line that up for y'all. Don't get it there. Find a truck on the side of a road that sells fries, and it'll be lit. I guarantee you. Every food truck in Canada knows how to do French fries better than Mickey D's, and the poutine is fire. All right, back to real shit.
Poutine, by the way,
King wants to know what
poutine is.
Oh God! All right, so poutine. It sounds like crap, but it's fantastic. Is basically the best way to put it. So it's French fries. It's what it is. With cheese curds and gravy mixed together. It is a Canadian delicacy. You'll find it everywhere in Canada. It's funny because I was doing a show way back in the day, and I'm trying to remember who the rapper was, but we were outside just hanging out, having a cigarette, and I was like, "Hey, man, you ever had poutine?" He looked up at me, he was like, "What the F is a poutine?" I was like, "Brother, let's go." And I took him right across the street. We hit a chip truck, and he was like, "Man, this is fire, bro." And he just pounded that down. Now like if you go to the right spot, smokes, let's go, Ricky LaFleur. You gotta love it. So look, the thing about poutine now, like that's traditional poutine, but now you're gonna find poutine that's exotic. Now you'll find it with with bacon on top and the cheese curds and maybe even some legit maple syrup in there. You will find it with cheese curds, cheddar cheese, and maybe some queso in there. They go crazy now. Like gyro meats, cheese curds, and like some garlic in there. They go ham. It's like a whole thing, y'all. It's a whole different twist on your regular boring ass fries you get at the McDonald's. These things are like, it's legit, y'all. It's like,
it sounds like fat boy shit. Is what it sounds like.
Oh, it's not for the like.
Duck confit ones are off the chain.
It's not.
They got duck confit poutine out here in Minnesota.
Okay, all right. That makes a lot of sense. Another one you'll get is brisket. Cook down some brisket, throw that on top of the poutine. Pulled pork poutine. My dude, poutine is off the chain, and yet definitely Fat Boy Foods. I gotta lay off. Poutine is like a once every 3 to 4 week thing for me. Maybe you gotta take your poutine in stride. But back in the days when I was younger and more spry, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, after the bar, you go to the bar, you get them bruising you, and you just step across the street, you grab a quick poutine, you're straight, man. That'll soak up all that excess alcohol. Hey, so you're fine for the next day.
Hey, so real quick, while we're talking about poutine, NJ wants to know, what time does the free agency period start? It doesn't technically start until Wednesday at noon or 3 o'clock, something like that. But the tampering period starts tomorrow at noon.
That's right. That's right. You're right. So the 10th, the new league year starts on the 10th, but there's a couple of days in between.
Yeah. So, but the dominoes are already starting to fall. Everybody's there's back channel conversations being had that doesn't mess with the NFL rules. You can talk to a guy that can talk to a guy that can talk to a guy. You can get the message through, and you can get deals done ahead of time, because I'm sure that's what teams would prefer to do, is just get it done as early as possible. That way, you want as much advance notice as you can when you're a GM and you got an accountant. He's trying to make sure that you got money for this, that, whatever's going on. You got dual situations where you got multiple situations going on at the same time, and you want to make sure you got all your bases covered. So it's just natural that it's going to be 12 tomorrow sometime is the real deal, but it's already going on now, man. How
Right.
else would they be getting these deals done, right?
Somebody somewhere in Europe or China getting signed right now for a large amount of money on vacation. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So let's get to the next guy, man, because I got to start this one off. I would just normally just pass it to you guys, but I got to say this one. I've been in just immersed in football all off season, man. I don't know if I've ever covered this much football and studied this much football in my life, even when I played. I've just really been dug into it. And somehow or another, I ran across a podcast and I seen the thumbnail about, different places that people thought Davante Adams might go. And I sat there and thought about it for a minute. And I'm not trying to say I'm Nostradamus or anything, but I wish I can rewind my mind and show you guys exactly what I had in my. I said to myself, if this guy goes anywhere, he's going to want to target the Rams. Why? Because they're going to get rid of their main receiver, and that's Cooper Kupp. And he's going to want to play for a championship caliber team and a great quarterback. Everybody wants to throw him back with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's had enough of him and put him down there with, what's his name? Derek Carr. Everybody thinks that's where he wants to go. No, he was looking around the league and it's like, what's the best situation for me? Give me the best quarterback I can get under the circumstances. And to me, it was either going to be Kansas City. It was going to be Kansas City or it was going to be the Rams. And I gave in my head the nod to the Rams just because they were giving Cooper Kupp permission to go seek a trade. They had that set up all along. And so I think that is probably low-key the best move that's happened so far. Number one, because I think that's going to put them squarely in championship contention. Not to say that Davante Adams equals championship, but I'm telling you, I can see where this team is trending and the way Matthew Stafford is playing football and the way they drafted on defense. I'm telling you guys right now, do not be surprised to see the the LA Rams in the Super Bowl this year. I'm telling you, they're gonna bring it.
Yeah, they've drafted fantastic over the last 2 years. Their drafts, if you look at their draft classes, they are outstanding. So there's that factor. Yes, losing out on Aaron Donald, you would have thought that it really would have taken a major effect on their defense. Strangely, it hasn't because of the people that they put on that line to replace him. Then you look at Cooper Kupp leaving. That is an unfortunate situation. Somebody's going to find a diamond in the rough somewhat with Cooper Kupp. I just don't think Cooper Kupp is going to be able to command the same type of money he was getting from the Rams simply due to the injury history he's had over the last 2 years. Now you look at Davante coming over. The reality is the delta, right? The difference between a Cooper Kupp and a Davante Adams isn't that stark, right? So they should be able to continue down the same path, if not maybe do a little bit better in the wide receiver room. So we'll see. I think the Rams are definitely in contention as far as the NFC is concerned. What do you think, FFG?
I think the Rams right now are positioned to beat anybody. Depends on how well they play. Because on the defense side of the ball, you're right, Kedz, they've drafted excellent. In the last couple of years after they won the Super Bowl, they took what they were able to get, but it had all been on defense. And the one offensive player they got was Puka Nacua because Cooper Kupp was still no joke at the time. Now you switch that for Davante Adams. Now, because you got to think about it, the two teams that should have been much better at the end of the last year, which is the Rams and Tampa Bay, because their wide receivers were hurt. If they stay healthy, sky's the limit to me. And they're going to be formidable no matter whoever they run into every week.
You got it. I thought it was. You want anything else to say on that, Kedz? I thought that was a great move by them. I think, like the Rams, they terrify me, man, because they draft so well and they got a great coach. probably one that I think people might argue with me, but I think outside of Lamar Jackson, I think there's a trio of quarterbacks that played the best quarterback in the league last year. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. They didn't like Mahomes didn't do a lot this year. You have to throw him in that conversation. But Matthew Stafford, I would argue anybody probably played the best quarterback of them all last year. And it's been like that for the last couple of years too. And so this guy he's playing his best football right now. And I think McVay sees that. And he knows this is a now situation. They brought him back after, some deliberations. But I think, I'm telling you, don't be surprised if those MFers are in the Super Bowl next year. I'm telling you, that's how well. And they're going to draft again. I think this draft is going to help them, thicken up the roster even a little bit more. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, they are going to be a dangerous team.
So things to note. The first one is Puka Nacua. I'm glad you brought him up, FFG. Puka Nacua was actually, I believe, his high school coach in high school, and then in university was Luke Getzey, which is one of them things. Like I was like, I kind of started to zero in on Puka Nacua during his draft, and I'm looking at him going, okay, I can see this guy going a little bit later into the draft, and maybe Luke gets a guy. That did not happen, and Luke is out. Sorry, Luke, and sorry to the Bears across the board, because he would have been a great selection. Turns out he was a great selection for the Rams, and that will simply just continue to move forward and get better. The only thing to be said here about the last 2 years with Stafford is just simply injury as well. As long as he's healthy, he's a guy, man. He's one of the best that has done it in quite some time. Again, as long as he's healthy. So fingers crossed he stays up and he's upright and he can do the darn thing.
By the way, shout out to Derek Guy, who became the newest No Maniac, man. We appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you a whole lot, man. We need more of you guys to jump in, help us out that way, man. Like I said, I'm going to keep this promise that we're going to keep cranking out more and more content as the memberships grow. I'm going to get somebody in here to help me do this website and get it up, and that's when the perks are going to come in. I promise you guys it's going to be like every week is going to be a perk to being a Super No Maniac. So if you can help us out, it would be great if you did. $4.99 a month just hit the join button on the YouTube channel and become a Super No Maniac. We appreciate you so much for that, Derek. But let's get to the next conversation, and that is DK Metcalf, who just signed with the Steelers. I think what was it? 5-year, $150 million deal. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna save what I have to say on this one. Now I'm gonna pass it to Kedz and see what you guys' take is on this, because I got some things in my head that I'm thinking about here.
Wow. All right, so DK is a great receiver. We know what he is. He's a blocking receiver. He's a fast receiver. He has a lot in his bag. He's got a lot in his tool bag. I'd say he's probably worth all that $150 million over the course of 5 years, except who's the Steelers quarterback? And that's the big question in Pittsburgh. They decided to make it the Russell Wilson show this past year and gave Justin Fields a couple of shots, couple of kicks at the can, under which he did really well. But guess what time it is? And I think everybody needs to pay attention. It is exactly that time where Justin Fields stops and he goes, I am hours away from potentially really decent money. Do I take a team friendly and sign with the Steelers? No. Why would I do that? They only let me play maybe 6 games this year, and that was because Russell wasn't ready. As soon as he was ready, it was the Russell Wilson show. Remember? So I think I might have showed the world what I'm all about, and that's running the football a heck of a lot. We all know about what he's about. The fact is, somebody just let go of their quarterback, and that somebody was the same team that let go of DK Metcalf. Oh, yeah, that team also used to be quarterbacked by Russell Wilson, so it might make sense for them to hang on and keep Russell Wilson over there in connection with DK Metcalf now, wouldn't it? That makes a little bit more sense. Well, the flip side to this is that means Justin Fields is a free agent, and I can see him commanding decent money in the free agency market this time around.
Who?
Justin Fields.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Geno
before you
Smith is still there, right?
hang on, before you go, let me.
Geno. Oh, sorry. Okay. Do you want to do that one too? Because I guess FFG didn't know.
Well, hold on, man, because one of the things I get to thinking about the traits, man, and this is something that you can't really get away from when you think about Justin Fields. You know, DK Metcalf is probably, you know, they said DJ Moore was always like one of the better deep ball trackers in the NFL, even before we got him. And DK Metcalf is that same kind of guy. He's one of the better deep ball trackers in the NFL. What does Justin Fields do best?
Deep ball.
Throw that thing deep. The big shot.
Yes, sir.
So put two and two together. You got to think about all this stuff, man. You got to think about it.
Well, I think Justin Fields now has leverage on the Steelers. He can say, I'm young, I'm healthy, I've got to be able to play for several years. I've learned in this system. I played in it, I won in it. So give me the reins, let me go crazy. And now you got me real wide receivers. I got Pickens and DK. Let's go. And we got a running game. Let's go. So I'm trying to keep his job.
FFG doesn't know that Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders.
Oh, all right. We didn't even mention that. Damn.
Yeah, so we kind of skipped over. We probably should have done the Geno Smith one first before we did the DK man, but DK was today. So the Raiders got themselves a quarterback. They couldn't come to terms with Geno with respect to his dollars and cents that he was trying to command. The Raiders were desperately in a situation where they needed a quarterback, and that puts them squarely into play for a certain running back in the first round. Just rounding things out. With you know what I mean? With Geno not being in Seattle and DK leaving at the same time, Russell potentially is in. Like, the Steelers screwed this up. I wish I could say differently. Last season, the Steelers had the lowest quarterback dollar for dollar case scenario in the NFL. They're paying peanuts to Russell Wilson. They're paying about the same to Justin Fields. And now, neither one of them are signed with this team. So I don't know what they do at quarterback at this point. We got a couple of days to figure out what that looks like. I don't think the world is screaming Russell Wilson, because I have not been hearing a lot of Russell Wilson noise out there in the weeds. I have been hearing a lot of Justin Fields noise, though. So Justin Fields to the New York Giants. Justin Fields to the New York Jets. Justin Fields to the Seattle Seahawks. I've heard all of those things over the course of the last 24 hours. Oh, yeah, and the Steelers, too. So, you know what I'm saying? The kid has the opportunity to really actually test the market. And I'm going to say command in and around $35 million per season.
I don't know about that.
Bro, he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback. It might be more than that. I'm giving you the low.
I'll tell you what I heard. And it was just me following somebody that I know that knows Justin Fields. And I was looking at a podcast. They had him on there. And basically what it came down to, it's not that he doesn't want to sign with the Steelers and stay, with the Steelers. He likes what they do. He loves the coach and everything. But for the first time in his life, this is his first real crack at free agency. He wants to see what the market dictates for him. What are they saying out there? What are they offering? And if you're Justin Fields, that's exactly what you should do. You know what I mean? You should go out there and test the water. At least put your toe in there and see what it's like before you jump all the way in that damn thing. You know what I mean? And then if the best situation for you is Pittsburgh and the way they're building that thing around you, you double back and you go sign with Pittsburgh. But it sounds like to me, listening to Garofolo talk, who was it? Him and maybe other guy, might have been Pelissero. Sounds like out of Pittsburgh, they're making Justin their number one priority right now.
That'd be smart because now they actually have a team around him. He's got weapons for probably the first time in his career where he's going to have two outstanding wide receivers. He's going to have a running game. He's got great blocking up front and a quality defense. So it won't be his fault if they lose because most of his career it's been terrible play up front. He's been running for his life, and he's had to be the person to win or lose a game. And when he couldn't win, all the blame was on him and the poor coaching staff, not the players around him, because unfortunately quarterbacks get that kind of designation that you're a loser or you're not good enough. And he wasn't good enough in Chicago for a while. So I really believe that he's actually got quality coaching. He's had it for at least a year, and he knows the system now where he can actually be effective, so he just got to go out there and show up, really, and be the player he wanted to be when he first came in the league.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Pittsburgh screwed that up, because if they put the dollars and cents into Justin and or Russell yesterday, neither one of them would be entering free agency. They are, right? So if they're entering free agency and somebody happens to call Justin's agent and say, look, we're going to pay him $35-40 million to be the starting quarterback at any of these teams. And I'm just going to throw back at Seattle for a second. Seattle didn't want to pay 40 to 45 for Geno. They might easily pay $10 million less than that for Justin. Oh yeah, guess who's their number one receiver now? Right, Cornelius Squalls? I see your comment. Your comment is Justin is not going to Seattle now with no DK or Tyler Lockett. But guess who just became the number one wide receiver in Seattle? His old homie, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right? They got a connection. I'm just saying it kind of lines up real nice for Justin over in Seattle. Dollar for dollar, as well as with the number one wide receiver. Bro, name a $12 million per year quarterback in the league.
Word is, the last time I checked on this, it's going to be like 15, 17 million, something like that.
Starting quarterback in the league?
That's what I heard. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but that's the number I heard from some qualified people.
That would be the number for a guy like, Justin Fields. Let's be real.
Yes, maybe that's why he's looking in free agency, because
of course that's why, right? Like if he stays in Seattle, it'd be more of if he stays in Pittsburgh, my bad. It would be more of a team-friendly situation, couple of years, middling money, if not low money. But who's to say that a team like Seattle, who now needs a quarterback to start for them, wouldn't throw a bit less, right? Substantially less than they would be paying a Geno Smith for a Justin Fields. Geno Smith was asking for 45 plus. That's a $10 million discount to get yourself a Justin Fields to run the show. That same logic goes for a couple more teams, right? So I don't know. We'll see what Justin winds up doing. I'm interested to see it. I'd hate to see him back in the NFC, but hey, if that's how it shakes out, that's how it shakes out. I'm just kind of surprised that the Steelers, who've had access to two high caliber quarterbacks this season, and the fact that they're paying them virtually nothing, balked, right? Like they haven't locked down either one of these guys yet. They got a couple hours to go.
Here's something you guys might be interested to know, because Justin Fields ain't a Bear no more, and that's over with. But doesn't mean that I don't support the kid, and I'm gonna always like Justin Fields, and I'll support him wherever he goes. Now, this is something I heard just listening to the Steelers podcast and people that are locked in. I look at reporters that report directly from Steelers camp, and they know, and they're in the room talking to Arthur Smith, and this was going on back during the season last year. That offensive coordinator loves Justin Fields. You can tell that by the way when somebody asks him Justin Fields questions when he's giving pressers. He absolutely loves Justin Fields. And that should be noted, you know what I mean? And Justin Fields loves him, because you listen to him talk about the whole situation. We're going to get to the DK Metcalf and George Pickens dynamic in a second. But just a little nugget that I learned from watching these other podcasts and what's going on. That guy loves Justin Fields, and he was always his first preference. That I think Russell Wilson got pushed on him. He's just a coordinator, so that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? You got to do what the coach says to do. He wanted Russ to be in there. He didn't want to have to give up that 4th round pick. I think that was the bottom line. That 4th round pick was, we can't. That's where we drive well at. We can't give up that 4th. We got to pull Justin and put Russ in. I think that's what happened. Russ played well for a nice little stretch of games, but he hit the wall. He definitely hit the wall. So it sounded to me, and I listened to Tomlin talk about it in the offseason, it sounded to me like they all in on Justin Fields. But that's that. I just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys. But we'll move on to this dynamic between George Pickens and DK Metcalf. Let me tell you something. I don't see how that works. I think DK Metcalf is insurance because maybe they have a plan to move on from George. But they both were at number 14, number one. Number two is that guy really stunk it up in Pittsburgh, man. He really stunk it up bad there, and that they're a little tired of him. The whole fan base is tired of him. As talented as he is, they just like move on from this cat and get somebody else in here. That's what the sentiment is coming out of Pittsburgh. I told people, when we were in the draft that year to get George Pickens, I'm like, okay, he's a talented guy. He's probably the most talented receiver in the class, as a matter of fact. But understand that there's more to it than just what he does on the football field. And so he is definitely worn out his welcome in Pittsburgh. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm laughing over here because like this story is so familiar. You know what I'm saying? I remember Martavis Bryant. Yeah, similar story. There's another dude. He just goes by initials. The first two letters of the alphabet, A and B. AB. That guy. Yeah, they kind of sound a little bit like that too. Like Pittsburgh just does some things. They get these chippy jerk store wide receivers, and straight up and down, they develop them and they perform. Period. Right? It might be late in the draft. It might be. You know what I mean? It might be early in the draft. These kids come out there and they perform, but people don't like them. Mostly the people on the actual team. So there it is with George Pickens. I was a big proponent of bringing George Pickens onto the Chicago Bears. I'm gonna be straight up and down about that. I wanted him here because I am all about, as much love as I give Tariq Stevenson for being a jerk store CB, I'm all about a jerk store wide receiver too. It's just who I am. I'm sorry. I might be wrong. But I wanted him here over, and they had the ability to do it. I wanted him here over Velus Jones. And that's part of the reason why I was so anti-Velus Jones every time he dropped the ball. I was like, damn it could have been George Pickens. But he would have been a jerk behind the scenes. He would have been. It
was so goddamn annoying. I know that's what it was with you. I was like, but anyway, man, what do you think about the dynamic before we pass to FFG? Do you think those two can coexist, man, without some fireworks going on?
I'm going to say absolutely, because I don't really see, coming in as the older proven veteran. I don't see DK really paying him too much mind. But at the same time, I can see just that having that older veteran presence, that leadership presence that he's going to bring to the table might just drive Pickens crazy, bro. It might drive him nuts.
And kids, that guy snatched Pickens' little ass up.
Oh, yeah.
He gets snatched the fuck up, man.
That's what
happens. You get talking too much shit on the sideline, you get snatched up.
That could happen too, because again, DK's a brick shit house. It cut him right out of stone. So I'm sorry, whatever chirping GP might be doing, I just don't see it phasing DK, because DK can just body slam him and suplex the guy. Call it a day.
What say you, FFG? What do you think about the dynamic between Pickens and DK Metcalf? Do you think they can coexist?
I think it's gonna be a rivalry. I really think they're going to fight for the ball, who gets the most catches, who gets the most touchdowns, who can show out. And then what DK can be saying, I don't never miss a game. I ain't never hurt. You always on the sideline with some old little bitty bullshit, excuse my language. So you ain't top dog around here no more. So let's roll. And with Justin Fields, we finna go dominate because he can run. We got running game. And all we got to do is get open and let that arm go off on us, and you just catch the ball, because now they have two large targets. So they'll be able to stretch the field a lot more than they ever could before, especially with Freiermuth underneath, as a tight end. So their offense will look a lot better. with that threat of the deep pass constantly, because people are scared of DK. They not so much scared of Pickens other than his speed, but there's people are afraid of DK Metcalf, and you have to have 2 top corners to play them every single week. And that's what's going to be tough about starting to stop Pittsburgh. Like when Ben Roethlisberger had 2 quality wide receivers, and even though AB was one of them, they still were able to get open. Now you could just throw it up all day long, and they finna drop bombs on people. So, yeah, I think the rivalry will end soon. Like Kedz said, one get body slammed and one can go home and cry to his mama. But it ain't going to be a battle because people are going to be afraid of them down the field.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I just know this, man. Here's the dynamic situation in Pittsburgh. Yes, they needed another receiver so that, George Pickens can get loose and get a lot more one-on-ones. He's more dangerous that way. DK Metcalf needs to be in a situation where he can thrive and, be in a situation where he can get targeted. It's just like you could tell how unhappy he was watching Seattle games now that, they kind of turned, you could see when somebody's getting phased off of a team, like a star player is getting ready to get phased off a team, especially a receiver, because his targets are going to go down. Same thing happened to him. I wouldn't say it was as bad as this I'm about to describe, but what was the guy number 12 that we had, Allen Robinson, when he got froze out of the offense, kind of, you know what I mean? And he was just like, man, I can't wait till this damn season is over. I got to get up out of here because I'm way better than what the situation is, how it's coming to me. You know what I mean? And so it was clear and obvious when you watch those games that he was being frozen out of the offense. They had a plan to move on from him, man. And so that's just the way it played out. Anything else? Am I missing anything else? Any big signings that I know Jake Matthews just got signed? That's the right tackle. I think he's the right tackle from Atlanta.
There's lots of signings, but before we leave DK, I'm still a little bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't do some sort of a package deal with the Raiders for both DK and Geno Smith. I know Pete Carroll holds DK in a special place in his heart. I also know that the Raiders have just about no wide receiver at all. They got 2 real good tight ends, but I don't know who's catching footballs in there. I swear it's N'Keal Harry. I'm just pulling names out of a hat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Every time I hear the name N'Keal Harry, I can't help but to think about Sean Sierra. He was just...
He's so sorry.
Shout out to Sean Sierra.
Shout out to the Superman.
Was on Chicago, man. Every time, man, we had a little running joke every time I get on the show or I'd be watching the show on the chat. He mentioned N'Keal Harry. I was just like, man, he might be the best linebacker in the NFL, man. He just don't know. He just don't know it yet. I'm like, this dude is not a stud receiver, man. He's just a big dude, man. That's it.
Oh, Marlon Johnson, shout out to you. You saying that they offered Geno and DK for Crosby, and I guess the Raiders were like, we're keeping Crosby. So there it is. That's what it looks like. I think you're right. I did read something along these lines too. I'm just surprised. I just don't know what. The Raiders is a really interesting situation to me personally, because I don't like they're gonna get either a running back or a wide receiver in the draft, in the tippy top of the draft. I could smell it happening, and I just want to know which one they actually wind up doing. I don't think either one is gonna work out.
Oh yeah, let me also mention too, man. While we're talking about this is the guy I had. Personally, I was just like, okay, looking at what the Bears could do to really rebolster up this offensive line. You guys know we've done many shows where I just kept on bringing up Ronnie Stanley would be a great pickup for us at tackle. You know what I mean? But
there's another one.
And I said it, I think a week or so ago, kids. I think I mentioned it on Extra Sauce or this show that I think it was going to be a hard, ask to try to pull him away from Baltimore because of how dominant that line was and how close they got with that line with Lamar Jackson and that big boy right behind them running that football with that defense. I think they're missing that edge rusher. But Ronnie Stanley is re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens. And I thought it was always going to be an uphill climb if we were going to get a chance to get him. But yeah, I was kind of upset, man, because I really could have seen him here in the Bears uniform, man, especially along this revamped offensive line where you got some veteran pieces with all the new rookie pieces that I know that we're about to bring into here. That would have been a good pickup for us. But that's not the only guy on the block, man. You still got Terran Armstead. But what'd you guys think about us missing out on getting Ronnie Stanley?
I'm trying to. I got to verify here now. I believe they were kicking the tires on both Ronnie Stanley and Patrick McCarry. Is that right?
Patrick McCarry, he ain't been signed yet. He's still out there.
I know. So it was like one or the other. So Patrick McCarry is basically still out there and available, which would be a decent look for us too. Just to put things out there as they are. So I was wondering which one of these two, like, you can't let go of both of them. That's just crazy. That just puts you squarely in the left tackle market, and you're looking at a rookie. Outside of that, the rest of the market, those are two of the top guys leading the market. Like, what are y'all doing? So that leaves McCarry available to us if that's something that Pulls in the gang want to do. That's really my 2 cents on this situation. They definitely needed to keep one of those two guys. So now we know who it is.
Let me answer a quick question. Nick Rimberg wants to know. Let me get that up on the screen. Hold on. He says Nick Rimberg wants to know. You think Jalen Moore? He's talking about the tackle out of. I don't know if he's a left or right. He said, do you think Jalen Moore is in play with the Bears? Has a good PFF grade too, and he's a left tackle. He's a left tackle from there. I haven't studied him, man. I wish I could tell you more. I haven't studied that guy. I forgot he was even out there, but I have not studied him. I couldn't tell you. But any other thoughts on the Ronnie Stanley deal? You got anything to say about that, FFG?
Yeah, I really didn't think that we're going to be in play for him because, as if you notice, the only time the understudies have been getting paid is when they consider the top guy, like what we got, is over the hill and too old. But 30 for a lineman is in the sweet spot because you got him for another 4 or 5 years easy. And that's where they're already polished and everything. But when you get to 32, 34, 35, they don't have as much time left, depending on their health over the last 4 or 5 years. So that's what you got to look at when it comes to offensive linemen if you already got somebody waiting in the wings. Now, we get Bakari, that'd be great, but I'd rather shore up the center position first, because I really wasn't thinking we were going to get left tackle in free agency anyway. I'd rather shore up the inside, which has been killing us for the last several years, where we can't keep nobody out and our quarterback's been running for their life straight up the middle, where they can't even set up. So bring on the center and then draft one. Whoever you want.
Derek Guy says the Chiefs were going after Ronnie Stanley hard. That made nothing but sense to me. Matter of fact, I mentioned that right after the Super Bowl that they probably should go right out. That would be that first thing they do is go after Ronnie Stanley because that spot was so weak for them. But they were not gonna let Ronnie Stanley go to the Chiefs under these circumstances. That would have been nuts. That happened before, and they cost them a Super Bowl with big what's his name? Big old, I forget his name right now. Last name Brown, Big Brown,
Trent.
Not Trent. Somebody help me out in the chat, man. What's his name? Orlando Brown. I think Orlando Brown went to. Yeah, he went there and he got some rings out of that. So that happened to him once. They ain't gonna let Ronnie Stanley do that to him. So, all right, let's talk about some more things, man. Nick Bolton, who was a guy that I was quietly looking at in the linebacker market. I know people gonna be like, "What? No, man. Why would you looking at linebackers?" Because we got a new defensive coordinator, and I know it didn't sound type of linebacker when I see one. And I'm telling you, Nick Bolton was one of those guys. What he had with the linebackers that we have in the building that we're paying, it probably would have cost too much. But he got re-signed with the Chiefs. That's done. We don't need to talk about that unless y'all want to. Aaron Jones, kids, one of the guys you wanted to target in free agency. Re-up with the Vikings, man.
I I'm just sick of seeing that guy run across our field. I'm really sick of it. And we're gonna have to go through it at least for another year or two. I'm really sick of watching this guy in his bloody blonde beard running around. I'm tired of it. I wish it would stop. That's all I got to say about Aaron Jones. Real talk. He signed a decent deal. He's back with the Vikings. It was a priority for them to re-sign him. Apparently, that's what they're saying. I mean, they haven't even locked down what they're going to do at quarterback, but they definitely needed to get Aaron Jones, and I can understand it. Facts is, I wanted him on Chicago just so we could stop watching him tear up our team and maybe tear up some teams for us. I was really kind of hoping we would get some Aaron Jones action over here because, damn it, I'm sick of that guy.
I concur with Kedz when it comes to Aaron Jones. I'm tired of that cat just beating us to the pulp just by himself, and it stays in the division, which is even worse. So that's the real problem. You can sign with anybody. Well, get the hell out of the North. Goodbye. I'm tired of seeing you attack us all the time. And every time we see you is 100+ yards from scrimmage. Easy.
Please.
2 touchdowns. I'm so sick of that. So, yeah, that was, of all the signings, that was the one that pissed me off the most today. He coming back.
Me too. Forget Myles Garrett, like straight up and down. Aaron Jones, man, damn it.
I'm hearing stuff coming out of I watched a dude named Grant Cohn. Grant Cohn's an asshole. One of the reporters coming out of the Bay Area from San Francisco. He really likes to aggravate those guys on that team. He really likes to aggravate the coaching staff. He's a shit starter. He's basically, who would I describe? Yeah, Dan Weeder of the 49ers. He's awful, man. This guy is awful. But I watch his stuff because he's right there on the spot. He's Johnny on the spot with all the news coming out of San Francisco. And they're making, they made the major move of letting go of Debo. Who else did they let go of? There's talk that they want to let go of Ayuk. They probably shouldn't have signed him, re-signed him. They want to let that contract go. They're going to have a hard time trying to sell that contract to somebody, number one. Number two, the last thing I heard is, listening to him, he's like, it's very, very unlikely that they keep Bosa. And so,
really,
I'm talking about Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa.
Right, Nick Bosa. Right.
You're gonna rid of Nick Bosa?
Yeah,
Nick Bosa actually plays. He's good.
He good play, and he stays healthy a lot more than.
And he's healthy.
Well, they paying him. That dude costs a lot of damn money, dude. It costs a lot of money. I think here's what I think is going on in San Fran. They brought Robert Saleh back to run the defense again and get this defense back to where it was supposed to be. And it's pretty clear to me when you watch San Francisco play over the last 2 years. And I said to the kids last time they were in the Super Bowl, kids probably looked at me a little sideways, and I was just like, I think the 49ers window just closed.
Oh no, I said that to you.
No, I said that to you, and
I think we were in. Well, either way, we're in lockstep with that one. That window's shut for sure.
Okay, so I think most people would agree with that now, right?
Oh yeah.
Given what they've seen so far, and if you Robert Saleh, they just gave you the task again to get this defense back up and running. You know that in order for you to do that, it's going to have to be some sacrifices, and that means on both sides of the ball. They let go of Malik Collins. A really nice rotational piece, defensive tackle, played really well for them. Go ahead.
I'm really now actually thinking of the reality of what you're saying right now, because there it is, right? So Hargrave is he's a free agent right now. Outside of the Brandon Ayuk situation, Hufunga's a free agent too. Like the wheels have fallen off. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if Robert Saleh can do anything about them wheels. Wheels are falling off, bro. As far as that defense is concerned, as well as that stellar offensive line is concerned, they've got some question marks all over the place in San Francisco.
You trying to play Brock Purdy? Kids thinking Brock Purdy is a great quarterback. I'm paying his ass for some damn domino coupon. That's what I'm getting.
Well,
wait, check this out. The Niners, what they did is they overpaid for quality talent early, and now that talent is old or beat up. And so all the great pieces they had don't look as attractive anymore, even to free agents or to the players on the team. So they want out because they're actually good quality young players are few and far between compared to what they used to have, because Fred Warner and all them dudes old now. They don't got they are like Philadelphia was a couple years ago, where they was a great team. They was in their window, but they didn't recoup any of that draft capital to make their team better. And that's really the biggest problem with John. His drafting has been crap, you know, for a guy that was just a great player. And unlike John Elway,
You think
who actually
Elway?
drafts well in Denver.
Wait a minute. You think John Lynch has been drafting bad?
But look at all the young talent they don't have at a lot of key positions. They got much older players.
I think they draft
all the premium positions on their team, and they're paying them an arm and a leg.
I think they draft pretty well. Maybe some of the the signings have been a little questionable, but I think they draft pretty decent. They've drafted some of the better defensive linemen. I would just say defensive linemen, offensive linemen, they've drafted well. Linebackers, they've drafted well. And, some of the ancillary pieces around all of that. They've done well in the trenches is what you need to.
They really have. They really have, right? Like, I have to agree with you, Nomad. The trench situation over there is nice. I wouldn't blame. Man, my neighbor's a San Francisco guy. We're gonna have to chop it up real soon because I don't know how he can sort of look at where they are now and not place some sort of blame at John Lynch and or Shanahan. Like the blame's got to go somewhere. But I have to sit here and say after the Trubisky fleecing, these guys have done great things, and then they screwed it all up with Trey Lance. That was a big mistake. Outside of the Trey Lance situation, all of their draft picks have been stellar. I think the other major malfunction, and it's a double-edged sword, is Christian McCaffrey. They're paying big money for Christian McCaffrey, and he's worth big money when he's on the field.
He was 2 years ago.
He's still worth big money, but like if he can play football, you know what I'm saying? Like if he's playing. I've been, the Superflex Fantasy Football Show. I've definitely drafted Christian McCaffrey over the course of the last 4 years. It was not a good idea. I'm just saying, it was a huge monster mistake. At least 2 years. 3 out of those 4 years, right? So the first time I did it was the year he was out
in Carolina, wasn't he?
He was in Carolina. He's out for the whole season. Whoops. I'm thinking this kid is great. He had a great first season, no problem. He's out the whole year. Comes back, he does the darn thing the following year. He's hurt again. Carolina gets rid of him. He's in San Francisco. He's doing the darn thing. Everything's good. They go to the playoffs. They get deep. Heck, they go to the Super Bowl. He gets hurt again. Right? So a lot of money tied up in that particular single human being, and now everybody wants out because nobody really believes in the Brock Purdy thing. I'm going to say it out loud. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's put this team in the most precarious situation possible because my guy been putting up better numbers than Bears quarterbacks ever have. Hate to say that, right?
I cannot let you sit here.
I gotta say it.
Purdy is not that good. Man,
I'm not saying he's that good. Really what I'm saying
is good. He's about as valuable as a wet damn food stamp, man.
If you parse it out,
you can't afford to get that guy the money he's asking for.
What's up, PJ, man? Shout out, bro.
Holler at me, man. If you want to jump in and chit chat with us and have some fun with us, man, kicking it with talking bear stuff, just say the word. You can jump in with us.
Always good to have you,
guys
PJ.
think about this.
Hold on. Let me finish. I'm just saying the bar for Bears quarterbacks is so effing low. That's really what I'm trying to say. All right. I want to say Brock Purdy is Superman. I'm saying our bar is so effing low. Yo, he's going to get paid by somebody. It's probably going to be 45. His agent's asking for 55 right now. Not sure if that's going to jive.
That guy ain't going to be nowhere near that kind. If that guy get that kind of money, somebody needs to get fired and just sent off into exile.
His name is John Lynch.
getting a chance to ever see the damn NFL board office again, ever. Because you pay that dude ain't worth all that money, man. He's an average quarterback that was on a greatly built team.
He was.
He's a system quarterback. You put that guy in your average offense, and he will struggle like black folks in the 60s. I'm telling you, man.
He ain't lying, Kedz. I'm telling you right now, that's like saying you would have paid Tom Brady $55 million after Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Would you?
Yeah.
Hell no. That team was just so good. All they ask you to do is not fuck it up every week.
Man,
and some days you can look really good knowing what you're doing.
Shout out Drew Bledsoe.
PJ,
look, the Niners have not drafted a quality position player since Ayuk. Kittle old as hell. They ain't got no other receiver except the kid last year, and he wasn't even all that great because they didn't invest in none of that. They turned Debo into a receiver, so they ain't drafted a quality wide receiver since goddamn T.O.
Well, PJ, I sent you an invite. Do what you will with it. You want to jump in, you can, man. We just having some fun talk. We can ready to talk Bears in a minute. We just talking about all the league news right now, man. We can get into some Bears in just a minute. But yeah, Purdy, man, please, man. You got to be kidding me, man. He's a pair of Skechers, man. I want Jordans.
Okay, kids, I got one question for you. Imagine Brock Purdy had to play for the Bears last year. What do you think his numbers would have been?
Oh, good Lord above me. Poor Brock Purdy. Like they
right. He might would have never made it through the season.
I can just see them digging his grave right now. You know what I'm saying? And putting rest in peace, Brock Purdy. It was good to have you as a member of the team because like he'll move. He's all right, man. Like he's all right, and that's the best I can say for the kid. He gets a job done, and he gets it done at a decent clip. But the fact is, that's Shanahan. You know what I mean? Like that's Shanahan stuff. He's putting it together in a way that will make it actually successful. It ain't going to work for Brock Purdy under the same pretenses anywhere else in the world. So he kind of has to take, in my opinion, a team friendly. I just don't see it being as friendly as the team really wants it to be. Like that's where we are. So there may potentially be another name added to. Oh hell, I mean we're kissing. They haven't signed him. It's free agency time, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, let's keep it moving, man, because I can talk about Brock Purdy for the rest of the show, man. And that's crazy ass idea of giving him that kind of money, man.
Minister Charles, what about him drafting, homie? What's up with that?
Oh, by the way, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Charles. I got your draft, man. I put it in the overlays. I'm about to pull it up right now. Let me turn on my mouse. I ain't never ready like I'm supposed to be. Turn my mouse on. Let me see. Let me get down here and find it for a second. Hold on, Mr. Charles. Damn, what's wrong?
Send him a link. Bring him on. I want to chop it over with Minister Charles.
Mr. Charles don't want to come on. If he want to come on, he can come on.
All right.
When he want to come on, he'll let you know. Here's Minister Charles's draft. So, Minister Charles has been, and he's just been standing on the table about.
Damn.
You know what? I applaud.
That's a hell of a draft.
It is a nice draft.
That's a great draft.
I applaud the hell out of this draft, bro.
It is a nice draft, man.
Straight up.
Brady still is probably the steal of this whole draft in 149.
I like where he went and got guys. You know what I mean? It's not just simply the guys, it's where he got them. You know what I mean? That's sweet. Look at where he got Landon Jackson at 53. Got TJ Sanders 2 picks later. After he gets a running back, he goes right back in there and gets TJ Sanders another D tackle or a defensive lineman. Then he goes at 91 and gets the creme de la creme of the playmakers in the draft, and that is outside of Jalen Milroe, and that's Savion Williams out of TCU, the receiver / any damn thing you want him to be. That dude is crazy. Quincy Riley, that's another guy I haven't got to. He's a cornerback out of Louisville. Jalen Reed, safety from Penn State. Jake Bringenstool, tight end from Clemson. Linebacker Cody Simon, we did him on the show, and I have not gotten to Patrick Jenkins on the show yet from Tulane. Nice interior tackle, man. I like this, man. He got Gray Zabel at 39, you know. It's a lot of people who think he's going to fall there. Josh Connerly, I love that pick. It's a great draft, man.
I love this draft. I love this draft. It is got the hell out of the first round, banked on picks in the top 75, realistically, top 100. You got the size at the defensive tackle. You also got yourself a 3-tech. You did both. So basically, there's a really sweet rotation going on in the interior. Gray Zabel, hey man, in my opinion, one of the top guards in this game right now coming in, and he can play center too. So there's your center/guard right there. Heck, if you really need to, you kick him out to the tackle position as well. But speaking of which, you got Josh Connerly Jr. There's your actual offensive tackle. He's super solid. Landon Jackson, your prototypical edge rusher. Say no more. Quinshon Judkins, that's my personal target at this point by way of Bears running back. I think Quinshon's the guy. I think he will fit the bill. I think he's a great compliment to DeAndre Swift. TJ Sanders, again, size in the interior. Savion Williams, there's your wide receiver. We can really use some help in that slot, and that's hopefully what Savion will bring to the table. Got yourself a cornerback. I'm not familiar with Quincy Riley, but heck, why not? Right? A little bit more beef on that in that secondary. Speaking of which, you got yourself a safety, Jalen Reed, tight end, Jake Brimingstool, Cody Simon at linebacker to backfill somebody we lost, who I'm sure we'll get to a bit later on tonight, and one more defensive tackle. This is a great draft, bro. Really well done.
Minister Charles, I sent you an invite, by the way. I know that you want to come on the show right now. I sent you the invite. If you're ready, you can come on. No problem at all.
No, I really like this draft. I'm surprised at where he got people. This is really the simulator, because I can't believe Savion lasted to 91. That's like amazing to me. Now, Landon Jackson, that's a great pickup. Even Quinshon Judkins at 63 was a shocker to me. That a lot of people want running backs because of the way things have been going. They don't want to pay for them. So with the class that we have this year, the only thing I probably would have changed maybe is I probably would have got another that last pick. I probably would have traded that for an offensive tackle or guard, just to keep, so we have young rotating talent, because we have a lot of defensive linemen based on, especially with this draft that he got. You got your tackles of the future and a quality edge. So you didn't need to quadruple down, because they already signed Ford. That's what I'm looking at. They already signed Ford to a contract. So you have another one technique already on the team. But yeah, this is a quality draft.
You're right. He's got two here. So like I'm down. I have to agree with you though, FFG. My last two would have been Eli Cox, to shore up center specifically, and Carson Vincent at offensive tackle. Those would be my 235 and 242. But I'm with you here. Like this is nice. Downside for me is we'd still be looking for a linebacker. So it is what it is.
Well, if you draft Cody Simon, you wouldn't be, because that guy play.
My guy Mike Pavlovich, he sent me a mock too. I'm gonna try to squeeze away from here and get his in there too, man. But any last thoughts on Minister Charles's mock draft? I thought it was pretty solid. I probably wouldn't have drafted Quinshon Judkins, but that's why Minister Charles is Minister Charles, and I'm me. That I'd have got another running back, but I appreciate it. I think he's a solid running back. I'm just not sold on him, really, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sold. Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil.
He got the door behind him,
and he shall appear.
Minister Charles, when you hold on, let me
pull that down. Yeah, pull that down. I'm gonna be right back. Bear with me.
All right, let me get this down. Minister Charles, when I see you on camera and you give me a thumbs up, I'll know you're ready to go. But yeah, man, I think, let me get this screen right. I got a couple of mock drafts in there. Minister Charles said he sent me a second one. I didn't. If he sent it sometime today, I know I didn't see it. But yeah, man, I think Like, dude, I be getting these mock drafts, man. I've only done like 7 of them. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. It's like I can get you. That thing is that mock simulator is extremely addictive. You can mess around and blow off an entire day messing around in a mock draft simulator because you'll never. You can always do it better the next time. I think that's the idea, right? Just keep doing them. You there?
Well, I look at this right here and Scrolls. If we could trade down this year to start at 31 and have that many picks in the top 130, we will start picking at 31 soon, just by amassing all that kind of talent.
Yeah, Trey Henderson
have a top 10 pick because most teams that win aren't picking in the top 5.
Trey Henderson, by the way, this is Zach's comment. He says Trey Henderson also excellent in pass protection. 2024, he had 12 or fewer carries in every game, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards, 0 fumbles, 4 years at Ohio State. And Jeanty, 8 fumbles at Boise State. That is something that sticks out on when you look at Trey Henderson on film, is he will stick his nose in there. And he's barely, I don't even think he's 220 pounds. He's probably, I don't think he's 215, but he will stick his nose in there and block like an MF, man. That's one thing that does stick out about him. I will agree with that, Zach. Minister Charles, give me a thumbs up when you feel ready. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Can you hear me, Minister Charles? Can you hear me, bro? Let me see what's going on here. Uh-oh.
Got some technical difficulties, Minister?
So far. All right, man. We got 311, 315 in the chat right now, man. Everybody do us a favor and hit that like button. We would really, really appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe. We're just trying to grow over here, and it's free and painless. The subscribe button costs you nothing. I got you, Mr. Charles. All right. Hold on. Let me put you in the screen here. There he is, Mr. Charles, up in this thing for his first podcast.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what's going on, man? What's happening?
Yes, sir.
Let me see what's going on. You got something going on in your background.
Yeah, you got a TV or radio on or something?
That's probably somebody just talking or something.
Can you already got fans?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, bro. We can hear you. You said you sent me another a mock draft today. Mr. Charles can't hear us. Can you hear us, Minister Charles?
Can you hear us?
Check 1, 2, Minister Charles. You got us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I can't hear you all.
Oh, that's what it is. He probably got his thing on mute or sound turned down.
Let me check him out.
I don't know.
It's got to be your speakers, Minister Charles.
Heard you all fine at first.
See, everything was fine before he came on.
Man, I don't know what's going on.
It was all good just a week
Let's
ago.
see here. Hold up. Let me see something.
Hey, Scroll said it's that fish frying in the background. You can't hear.
This grease popping too loud.
Right. Ain't turned the skillet off yet.
You still can't hear us, Minister Charles? Yeah, he can't.
He don't hear a damn thing.
All right, man. Look, hey, just tell him.
Okay,
talk to him in private chat.
If he puts the channel on, it'll be a reverb because he'll be listening to us late.
Yeah, it's gonna be late. He can't do it that way. So do me a favor, Minister, if you can hear us, jump out, click leave studio, and try to jump right back in. All right.
Let me put that in the chat for him.
Yeah, just put it in the regular.
Now we can't hear him again.
Just put it in the regular chat, FFG.
Yeah, please.
No, I know if he's still in the studio. He can see this though.
He can see us, but he can't hear us.
No, I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave a message in the chat.
I don't know that he knows to go look for that. Leave it to him in the regular chat. Just tell him to leave the studio and tell him to come back.
Okay.
Like, you know, to look for the private chat. He might not.
Okay, well, mine's up all the time.
Now we can't even
All right,
hear
what's
him.
the next topic so we don't look like we just amateurs?
All right, let's get it popping, man. Who else we got? Let's talk about the Bears' move so far. Let's start with the first one that I have right at the top of my head. First thing they did, you know, in this part of the offseason was not the first thing they did, but they not tendered, but they signed Josh Blackwell to a 2-year extension. Josh Blackwell has been, to me, like, as much as I love Kyler Gordon, I don't think we take a step backwards when Josh Blackwell is in the game playing slot corner. And we re-signed him to a 2-year extension. I don't know the terms, but I thought that was a great deal for us. What did y'all think about Josh Blackwell?
You go first?
Sure, you go, man. Hit it.
Oh, no, I think he's one of those unsung heroes on the Bears. Seriously, because he plays all the time, special teams. He's always ready at a moment's notice. He's never hurt. And this kid goes 100 miles an hour, and his technique has gotten better and better every season, where he can play the slot or he can play outside boundary corner when necessary. And he's had to do it for 4, 5, 6, 7 games a season over the last 3 or 4 years. So I give him a lot of credit for guys who's not making a lot of money being that proficient at what he does and being a solid backup, because we've had a lot of injuries.
And thank you, Black Diamond Petty just put in there 2 years for $5 million. A great pickup for that little bit of money, man. That's a great pickup. That's a great pickup. You was able to get him for that amount of money. That's a great sign. And you do that twice, every day of the week, twice on Sunday, Jack. That's a great pickup. What say you about Mr. Charles? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up when you hear my voice.
Uh-oh, no thumbs. But hey, look, man, Josh Blackwell's been playing well. I'm not gonna give him the same level of love that you just gave him there, Nomad. You gave him a lot of love. I think Kyler Gordon's on a bit of a different level than just about anybody in that nickel position. But Josh Blackwell adds special teams, right, dog? Like, that's what he adds. He adds some special teams love, and in that respect, that's something else. Mr. Charles, can you hear us?
We can see you.
Oh,
yeah, we have to work on your feed, man. Your feed is messed up. We'll try it again later, man.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so you're coming in a little bit. But your mic is a bit shaky.
Yeah, where's your mic at?
I'm assuming you can hear us. Can you hear us right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So he can hear us. We can hear him, but your mic is a little bit shaky. If you got maybe you got a headset with a mic on it, try rocking that. That might help out.
We're gonna have to. We'll try to get you together for the next show, Minister Charles. We gotta, because it's just like we doing technical work live on the show, man. We got to keep it moving.
We'll pull him out and give him a couple minutes to try to figure this out, okay? All right. We'll get him. We'll give him a little time back behind the scenes, see if we can get a mic plugged in and get straight. Outside of that, like I said, I like Josh Blackwell because of his special teams value, man. That special teams value he brings to the table is crazy. And I'm sure you guys all saw the little Bears legacy video this weekend on Twitter and all the other social media platforms. If you did, cool. If you didn't, but one of the major highlights in that reel is the Josh Blackwell return, right? Against Green Bay. That return is something special, and I'm glad that we can expect similar. Like, real talk, in my opinion, that return helped to retain Richard Hightower on this team, and I think it really showed the value that Josh Blackwell brings to the special team side of things, let alone being that secondary option at the nickel position. So I love the fact we brought him back.
Hey, Minister Charles, if you hear either one of us talking, throw a thumbs up. You hear any of us talking? He can hear us talking now. Let's try him again. Let's try him again. Put him in here. How about now? Let me talk to me, Mr. Charles.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
We can. You sound perfect now.
Okay.
All right. Just don't move too much. Don't start moving around, Mr. Charles. Now you might mess it up.
Nah, I just figured out what it is.
You moved.
Oh, you see, you moved and you messed it up, dog. You
Right,
messed it
you
up.
moving too fast. See,
you muted yourself with something. There you go.
no.
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Oh,
You still here?
okay, you're back now.
Yeah, back up.
All right, I figured out. I know what it was.
Okay.
All right. So talk to us, man.
So how's it going today, fellas?
Going great, man.
Monday. Lord,
It's good to have you,
Coming
Minister,
through.
man. It's about time.
Coming
Man,
through, man.
FFG, you look like this guy used to hang out at the terrace.
I hope it was a cool cat, because that's me.
Perfect.
Man, but so tell us about the draft, man. You wanted to so you want to come in here and do really, I know you want to do the off-season mode, and you want to break down the whole off-season. And we'll get to that, man. Once we get your internet stuff straightened out, we got you clean, Chris, everybody can hear and see you well. We'll do that for you. But that draft you just did, you want me to put it back up? You wanted to explain what you was thinking when you did that?
Well,
You want me to put it back up?
Yeah, go ahead, Nomad. Make it easier.
Here we go. Let me put. You can see Minister Charles over on the side. Tell me what you was thinking there, man. Mr. Charles is he trying to get his camera right. You ready? Minister Charles, you ready?
yeah, are we good now?
You should be all right, man. Just tell us what you was thinking about when you was doing this draft.
Well, for one, I have my mind on a particular player, one that I think that is totally underrated, not getting the props that he deserves, and that's Kenneth Grant.
Okay. That's at 31. So you move back. You I saw you in the chat saying in your mind you won't draft in the first round. Or early, you won't draft. Yeah, you said you won't draft in the first round. It's up to you. Right?
I'm good if you all are good.
Well,
Yes, sir.
if you can hear us, can you? Am I delayed? Yeah, Mr. Charles, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pull you out, man, because the feed ain't right. I think we're delayed, and you hearing me, but you're hearing me a little too late. So we're gonna have to work on your feed, and I promise, man, we'll put you back in the show. But we're gonna pull you out for now, man, just to get that right. Next time we'll do a little due diligence before we get you on. Make sure we got you spot on perfect. I'm gonna pull you out, man. All right, we're gonna pull this down for a minute. Keep it going. All right, what was we talking about before we were doing Minister Charles' video? We're talking about Josh Blackwell, man. I thought that was a great pickup. I never really questioned whether or not he was going to remain on the roster. Any defensive coach worth his salt that looks at Josh Blackwell on tape and saw what he had on this roster and saw that you can get him for that much money, hell yeah, you sign. It's a great pickup, right?
No question.
It's a great re-sign. Yeah, I mean, it saves you a lot of money, and you got quality depth, and people know the system and can adapt well. So that's what you really want: special teams and defense for your backups.
All right, so we don't have much else on that. Now they tendered, and so I had to do. If you guys seen that video we did earlier, Kedz and FFG. I was explaining in that video, I just learned about what basically as an exclusive rights free agent. I didn't really know I knew what the term was, but I didn't know what it meant. And so basically, you got a guy on your roster that's coming up on an expiring contract. You can put that kind of tender on him, an exclusive rights tender on him, and that football player doesn't have the right to negotiate a deal elsewhere. And so basically, we got that guy unless he chooses to sit out and not play football. We gave those tenders to Chris Williams, who I was over the moon about. We also did that for Jake Kieran and I believe Daniel Hardy. Those three guys. What did you think about those three those little waiver options?
So 2 out of 3 for me. I won't sit here and say that I'm maybe 1 out of 3. I won't say that I'm over the moon with Chris Williams. I really hoped one of those guys, whether it was CW or Byron Cowart, would really step into the role of the missing Andrew Billings when he went down. Same token, you don't want to create additional holes, so you keep a guy like that in play and you rock and roll. So I'm glad that they were able to get him at decent numbers. Daniel Hardy was the other person involved here too. That's to me, you cannot afford to let a Daniel Hardy go. Daniel Hardy is that good, especially the value. Like when you're watching special teams, I'm not a special teams guy by any stretch of the imagination, but let me tell you, it's easy to see the value that Daniel Hardy brings to special teams, yo. He's involved in 90% of the tackles there, period. If it ain't Daniel Hardy, it's your boy, Nomad. Who am I talking about?
Blackwell.
No.
He's
next.
Number 20.
Number 20 is who I'm talking about. The running back. But yeah, those two guys are involved in every tackle, period, on special teams. I'll be surprised if he doesn't wind up signing with the team again, except we might just be in the running back market and maybe we can do something a little bit different. So you got to keep Hardy. I'm so stoked that we did. FFG, what do you think?
Hardy, definitely. Jake Curran, he was hurt.
Yeah, you noticed I skipped over Jake Curran.
Got some chances, but he wasn't a real steady.
Actually,
he wasn't steady Eddie coming in.
But he got hurt, bro. He got hurt.
That's what I'm saying. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Our revolving door of beat up linemen continues. So that's what I look at. And Chris Williams played well in stretches, but he wasn't the rotational piece I would have wanted. That's why I'm glad they tendered Ford, right away too, because that was the move I thought was more important, to keep that beef and keep somebody who's got that experience on the defensive line. Him and Hardy were the two moves that I was most happy about us keeping on the team. And they also did the same thing with Bill Murray. They tendered him because so he's going to be on the Bears again next year. So that was another. If you want to look at those moves, Bill Murray was another good offensive line pickup, because that kid's gotten better and better at having almost never played the position in the last 3 or 4 years. He's actually progressed more than the linemen that have been playing since they was in high school.
Hang on, bro. Hang on. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I got the right guy. Because now that you said Bill Murray, I'm not sure. Who did I say? Jake Kieran?
Jake Kieran, yeah.
Okay, so what I have down, and I might be wrong. Yeah, it is Bill Murray. I was wrong. It was Bill Murray. It's not Jake Kieran.
Okay, yeah, Bill Murray. That's what I'm talking about.
It's Bill Murray. My bad.
Yeah,
so
Bill Murray was definitely worth it for the money, and he couldn't go nowhere. And this kid gets better and better. That's a no-brainer. It really is, because you're getting quality talent for no money that wants to be better, and he's already got that chance to start. So he's already hungry. So that competition, and now he's going to have a Pro Bowl piece in front of him to show him the ropes. He's going to get better and better and better. What a great offensive line coach.
He put some good tape out there. Bill Murray, when healthy, really, I know he got he had the eye of Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles is the one that, brought him here, but he heard him. I heard him at least once in a presser mention that, he liked the way that guy was looking. And when I saw him on the field, I can agree with what he must have been seeing when he signed the guy. It was a lot of things to like about Bill Murray. I think he just like most of the guys on the line, and as jaded as we are about this offensive line and how bad it played, sometimes I don't know that we remember that, these guys were just banged up, man. It was just a bad year for this offensive line. I mean, injury-wise, I don't know how much worse it could have gotten. I don't know how much worse it could have gotten. At least we didn't have completely catastrophic injuries all over the offensive line. That's about as worse as it could have gotten, but it was pretty rough, man.
The one guy who wasn't hurt, I haven't heard any words about them re-signing him, and that's the one thing I gotta. Really, okay. So I'm gonna throw the Barlissimo quotes up there in a second, but like, you know what I'm saying. The one guy that didn't get hurt, and that's Matt Pryor, right? So I'm worried. We may have seen the last of Matt Pryor on the Bears. I thought he performed beautifully given the situation. He was able to step between guard and tackle pretty seamlessly and really serve as that left tackle when Braxton went down. So we'll see what happens with him. Yes, Travis Homer was who I was talking about, number 20 for sure. And same token, Barlissimo, your other little you're right there with me and FFG, right? Kern is a bum. I didn't say it. Barlissimo said it. Quote Barlissimo. Williams is a decent 3-tech. Hardy showed up and is a low cost depth talent as well. So I'm right there with Barlissimo for sure in his take across the board, because I feel the same thing. Oh no, well, KQ, the money for Ryan Bates, they can't get around. He's basically already.
That's $4 million you could save today.
Save $4 million?
Yeah,
I will.
He's not guaranteed this year. You can cut him today and save $4 million right now.
Well, before we get all the way into that, something else, kids, you might be happy to hear about, because it didn't look like it was going to happen, but they cut Eamon Ogbongbemiga, and then they tendered him.
Right. Okay. I thought they tendered him.
I didn't see
they tendered him. They cut him earlier, and then they tendered him. If he'd have got signed, and somebody would have picked him up as somebody would have placed some rights on him or something in between the time when they cut him, they'd have lost him for good. But he was out there long enough to where they were able to place that tender on him.
So I'm gonna say the stuff Bears fans hate when I say stuff like this, but I'm saying anyways. So there's your Jack Sanborn replacement. I have full faith in that. I know. I have full faith in it. That kid was everywhere, and he was awesome all the way through last season. I just hope it continues on. It started in the preseason. He was all over the place making tackles, to the point that everyone was like, who's that cat? I can't pronounce his name, but who is he again? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what everybody was saying. So I had to stop for a minute and go and like phonetically sound this thing out. Ogbongbemiga. All right.
He's extremely valuable.
Sounded out so I can say it, because like he kept showing up on tape, and I knew when me and you were doing the live shows, we were doing the watch shows. Hey man, I keep saying this name because he's all over the place. Ogbongbemiga. He's crazy, bro. So
kids, he's also great on special teams. He's also great on special teams.
That's really
right. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, that's the biggest point you're missing for that kid, number 45.
Yes,
he's excellent on special teams, making tons of tackles, and when he gets a chance to play, he is everywhere, because he's got that sideline to sideline speed and that large frame, and he tackles well. That's one thing I do like about his game. He tackles very well, like a Sanborn, which Kedz alluded to, that he may be the replacement, and he may be one of the bigger rush factors coming up next year for those blitzes and stuff, and Dennis Allen's new defensive scheme.
So let's double down on that now. So the other piece to this, and I know the chat, the chat is gonna hate the fact that we didn't re-sign Sanborn. It's shout out to Jack Sanborn across the board. We love you, bro. We love what you brought to the table. I think you coming in as a UFTA, you performed fantastic, and I'll say the Bears. The Bears greedy thing. I really wish we were able to trade you for some capital in some capacity, but it is what it is. I'm sure you're going to get paid and you're going to play spectacular for another team. That being said, I think the two replacements are Eamon Ogbongbemiga as well as Noah Sewell, right? Those are the two guys. They spent capital to bring Noah Sewell onto the team. 3rd round pick, I believe, if not 4th. They spent some decent capital to bring him on. He's going to get some opportunity to shine and pay respect to that investment. If he doesn't shine, it's Amen Agbagbamiga's game role to lose. So that's kind of how I see the situation, and I think it'll work out just fine. I don't think we're going to feel too much by way of the loss of Jack Sanborn.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened to Jack Sanborn, which is unfortunate. He outplayed UDFA status so far above and beyond what you see in most UDFAs, where they have to pay him now. Because he was that good. When we were terrible, he was great. He played all over the linebacking core, and his role has been diminished over the last 2 years because the way they've been playing that cover 2. So they don't play a lot of 3 linebacker sets. So he's really been wasted talent the last 2 years. So when he does get in, he plays all out and he flies all over the place. So now somebody who uses that 4-3 consistently with the strong side linebacker, he's going to get paid and he's going to be able to wreck shop all at the same time, which he wasn't for the Bears over the last 2 seasons.
Jack Sanborn can play well in any defense. He fits any scheme, whether it's – now here's the thing that people should know about Jack Sanborn, and probably why, and to FFG's point about he overplayed his so-called worth. I mean, now you got to pay that guy some money, and you can't really afford at this point to be paying another linebacker. So something has to give. That's one thing. Second thing is, and the conversation has to be had about Noah Sewell. One thing I would say to people is, and I've said this a few times now, Noah Sewell, to understand what kind of value Noah Sewell has, you have to look at it in relation to the defense that we had here. It was a zone-based heavy scheme, and that's not. I don't know what they were thinking of. They just felt like that they draft Noah Sewell and he can translate to a zone better and playing space a whole lot better than he plays downhill and getting after people. That's his game. And that's what Dennis Allen asks out of his linebacker. So again, when Dennis Allen seen the tape and, probably saw Noah's college tape versus what they were asking him to do here in cover 2 and cover 3, he just didn't perform as well. And, some linebackers do not. Not every linebacker fits and plays in coverage well. When you play mostly a man scheme and you're asking your linebackers to play downhill, that's Noah Sewell's game. And so really it's just not that Jack Sanborn ain't worth it. He is worth it. He just costs a little bit more than what we're willing to pay him. And we got a guy that fits the scheme right behind him. And so I'm looking forward to, I don't know exactly what's going to happen to Noah Sewell, but I know if Dennis Allen's seen what I saw on film, it translates to what he wants to do very, very well.
So Petty Murphy hit it on the head.
Petty Murphy.
Yeah,
I was just going to go through some of it.
And Allen's prototypical linebacker.
Yeah, so Petty Murphy did hit it. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to say a couple other things. That's from the chat. Jabba Keeper, Sewell hasn't shown any pop on tape. Now that tape, hold on. That tape is Chicago Bears tape, not necessarily college tape, which is the differentiator that Nomad is trying to make.
Yeah, because Oregon, he was killing it.
I'm not with this one. To me,
I tried to explain why. That's the most important thing. Okay, he didn't do it. He didn't look good, but the most important thing to remember is why. He had to play space, and that didn't look well for him.
I'm not, but so that's one reason why. There's another reason too, and maybe a third one, right? So he was a healthy scratch a lot last season, and there's got to be a reason for that. And maybe he had a falling out with the actual, with the coaching staff. I don't know. I'm not sure what the reason was behind that. There was also some injury there too behind the scenes. So there's a couple of things that have also contributed to him not being on the field as a Chicago Bear. That's my problem with the Noah Sewell situation. I just want to see him get a shot. He is that prototypical linebacker for the Dennis Allen defense. So perhaps once he gets the opportunity to be on the field, he can show exactly what he's worth, right? So give him that opportunity. The other piece that you were sort of leaning towards is the dollars and cents in the linebacker room. And there's a certain somebody who's kind of hogging all the money in there. So yeah, some of that money had to some of that money had to go out the door. Unfortunately, it went out the door with Jack Sanborn.
Yeah,
it's
it's true, bro. It's true.
This is my last take on it. One thing I think people ought to know. The only reason I know this stuff is because I got a couple of homies that's coaches and stuff in the league, and I ask them stuff like, they probably get annoyed with me asking certain questions because it's like taboo shit you ain't supposed to be really answering. But I asked them, I'm like, man, and some of them injuries, all them injuries real, man. It's like, nah, dude, you gotta do stuff to, shuffle your roster around depending on who you need to get on the field for that week. Somebody might have to take an L that week. And that L might be you're gonna get a phantom ass injury this week on the report. And come Wednesday, I think they have to get that thing out on Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that. And that happens sometimes. Not to say that Noah Sewell was never injured. I'm sure there was some real injuries in there, but I don't think every single time you heard Noah Sewell wasn't in the lineup or wasn't on the 53, it's because, or he didn't suit up, it's because he's injured. That was the case every time. I don't believe that. I believe that's always how they have to structure the roster for that week.
That's fair, right? So, like, I don't, we don't know really what's going on behind the scenes. That's totally a fair assessment. My point is they put draft capital into the kid. They saw something there, give him the opportunity to shine and at least see the field a couple of times and maybe do the darn thing. So without having Jack in front of him, it really opens up that door and gives him that opportunity. Worst come to worst, we got a bloody tackling machine in Eamon Agbagbomiga. See how it just rolls off the tongue now?
Hey, Illy just asked one of the that's a very intriguing question right there, because this is some stuff we was talking about during the season. He says, Nomad, what do we do with Tyson Bagent then? Let him walk? You know what? That's going to be an interesting, with
what are you doing, Illy?
Here's what typically happens when offensive coordinators change over. When you get offensive coordinators, new offensive coordinators, typically what happens is that offensive coordinator gets a guy. He's inheriting everything in that quarterback room. And if you look around on every team, whenever there's a new offensive coordinator, that offensive coordinator goes and finds a guy that's his scheme fit, whether it's a guy that played with him at the previous place he worked at or not. He finds a guy that really fits what he's doing. So I think there's a quarterback move coming. Does that move there's a Tyson Bagent he's going to leave? I don't know about that. I don't know. He might like Tyson Bagent for all I know and thinks he's fine. But I'm going to be interested to see what they do with Tyson Bagent, because I heard Tyson Bagent loud and clear. He thinks he's a starting quarterback, and I think he can start somewhere.
He could be, and here's where the Chicago Bears shoot themselves in the foot every time. And I've been speaking on this for the last maybe couple of shows. The Bears will draft somebody. Jack Sanborn is a great example of what I'm about to bring to light. So you get yourself an undrafted free agent. You bring him on the team. You give him starting, you give him starting reps. He shines. He looks good, and then you let him walk. You get absolutely nothing for him. He goes to another team. He shines and he does well. There's a laundry list of players like this. Roy Robertson Harris is another one that we could talk about under the same pretenses. Again, undrafted free agency style. We also do this with players we draft. James Daniels, for instance, right? Okay, we don't like you anymore. We're just gonna let you go. We're gonna get nothing for you now. We got a gaping hole at center, and we gotta figure that out for the next 4 years. God, do something with the kid. They had all kinds of opportunity to do it last year, and I was really hoping they would. Mind you, I guess it turned into stats for Caleb, which is great too, I guess. I thought they should have sat Caleb down at some point last year. Sorry, guys, just saying it. You sit him down. This way that sack number doesn't get astronomical, and it was just continuing to get astronomical. Sit him down, put Tyson Bagent in there, and let Tyson run the show. Why? Because you can build capital out of the player that you're developing, and then you can trade him for something, anything. He's an undrafted free agent, right? You didn't pay anything to get him other than a salary. If you can get capital for Tyson Bagent, you win. You've done well. At this point, I don't see him starting under any pretenses this season, let alone, clearly he didn't last season. They're going to let him sit in the wings, and they're going to get nothing for him next season when they let him go.
There's an outside chance that things can fall completely apart. We hope that doesn't happen, but let me get to some questions.
I doubt that's going to go on, and even in that situation, don't be surprised if there isn't another quarterback here with the Bears over the course of the next few months. So,
all right, I'll tell you what, man. Let's get to some questions, man. I've been letting these questions pile up.
Wait,
and,
real quick,
I'm answering them. What's up?
Tyson Bagent is your boy Brock Purdy. Kedz.
Sure.
He's a system quarterback. So if there's a team that needs a quarterback like that, they have our system already in place. They can just, plug and play. That's a great trade value for us. And I guarantee you the one thing that they can do is make sure everybody knows he's a number 2 going into training camp and coming out. And so when somebody gets hurt by the trade deadline, now you can get your capital. So I wouldn't let him walk because it's only his 3rd year. He's still got another year after this.
I'll tell you what, we'll get back to that because there's a question in here speaking to directly that and what you think his value is. We'll get to that.
Get it. Okay.
All right, here's one question from Vic Perez, man. He says, with DK at Pittsburgh, does that mean Wilson is in and Fields is out? Not from what I'm hearing from the reports. It sounds exactly the opposite. It sounds like they want to keep Justin Fields in there. They want to offer him. They're just letting him. They just respecting his wishes and letting him test the free agent market for the first time. And whether they wanted him to or not, I think Justin was going to go out there and go see it for his first time. This is his first chance to get a nice bite out of the apple. And so I think it sounds from every reporter I hear from that's connected to the situation, it sounds like it's Justin Fields.
There's no way. I'm saying it right now, man. Watch Justin Fields go to any of the teams that I mentioned today, Vic. Watch. Because one more time, the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to get a team-friendly deal here on QB. That's what they're trying to do, right? They don't want to pay Russell Wilson money. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to pay Russell Wilson money. They want to pay low wallet share, team-friendly Justin Fields money. And if you look at the chat from earlier on, we were talking about this, the numbers that were being thrown up initially were like, oh, no, Justin going to get like $12 million. No. Justin, maybe he gets $17 million. No, that's not the quarterback market. For a starting quarterback in the NFL, that's not the market. But that's what the Steelers are hoping to pay. I'm just being a realist now. So at this point, they're like, we'll let you go out there and see what you can do. Because the last time we let you go out there and see what you could do, you wound up with us for peanuts. So what are the odds? The odds are a lot bigger because most of these quarterbacks have been booted off their teams over the course of last week. Where's Aaron Rodgers? Oh, yeah. He's not in New York anymore. You know what I'm saying? And the other New York team doesn't have a quarterback either.
It's all favorable, Kedz, because there's like eight, 9 teams. It's like at least 8 teams that's looking for a quarterback. This is a favorable market for Justin Fields. And, with this, when you got that many teams looking for a starting quarterback and you're in a situation that it was out of your control to begin with, you got handed to the Pittsburgh Steelers and you did what they asked you to do. They were in a certain situation. If you played a certain amount of snaps, they were doomed to have to give up another 4th-round pick in order to – and they knew that wasn't the smartest thing. It might have cost them their season, but at the same time, they kept that 4th-round pick, and now,
and that's part of how they played him. They played him in a situation where, you know what, you're winning, but if we keep playing you, we're gonna have to actually give up a 4th. So we're not gonna play you. It's only gonna be a 6th. And I would feel a way about it. I'm sure he feels a way about it because he was not prioritized as far as their offense was concerned. He was a secondary option. So I want to go to a team who's going to make me the priority. And guess who is the number 1 wide receiver in the Jets? My old homie from Ohio State, too. And I said the same thing about Seattle a little while ago. So there's 2 easy destinations for the kid who I'm pretty sure will pay him about $30 million to do the darn job. if not $27 million, ain't going to be no 12, 15, 17 number like was being thrown in the chat. He's going to get paid. And I don't think the Steelers are going to pay him.
Well, Kedz, you see what Zach said. He said right now reports are Fields and the Steelers are in a bidding war over Justin Fields right now to see where they're going to keep him. But let's remember, who won 14 games last year and got $10 million in our division? As a, been traded around, got another chance to be another team where the team was already stacked, and now he got a chance to perform and actually have matured in his career. And he ain't got a job today for the Vikings. Sam Darnold.
So those are two guys.
He didn't get paid buku dollars to play last year. And that's the thing.
The Vikings don't want to pay him either.
Tell Justin Fields, but look, here, we'll give you 20, 22 million, and we want to see what you do, because now you're in a good team and you don't got to work. You don't got to be the rookie getting beat up. We have the team already in place. And this way allow us to keep winning over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, and you can be a winner, and you're still going to get paid, but we're not going to break the bank to keep you because you haven't shown that you're the upper echelon yet.
Oh, FFG, man, I would strangle you if I was over there right now, because what you just finished saying, chat, I don't know if you guys transposed what he just said, but the Vikings are a destination too. That's what he basically said, right? So the last thing I want to see, period, is a return of Justin Fields to the NFC North. That's the last thing. Notice I went AFC East and NFC South. You know what I'm saying? I went elsewhere. There's potential for him to wind up in purple. They've got all the other stuff around that team ready to go. They got the wide receiver core built. They got Aaron Bloody effing Jones. Oh, that would be the worst thing to ever happen in an offseason for Bears.
All right.
Just got to say it.
All right. So we got to keep it moving, man. But just so you know, a part of the market is, you gotta remember, man, the NFL is it's a copycat league. And there are trends that happen, and anybody that watches this game intently like we do, you can see the market is there for a quarterback that can deliver from the pocket and a quarterback that is also mobile. And so a dual threat quarterback is worth its weight in gold right about now. And Justin Fields is one of the guys that epitomizes that. And so don't leave that out. But I'm gonna get to the next question, and this is from Dennis Moody. He says, Nomad, he said, can you imagine landing Trey Hendrickson and drafting Kenneth Grant? Who would you double team? That would be insane. And then you still got Javon Dexter, still got Montez Sweat over there. So here's Dennis, here's what I've been hearing is the latest on Trey Hendrickson and his trade value. There are teams that are offering Cincinnati a second round pick and some ancillary pieces. Maybe a player or two off the roster, maybe a late round pick, some other little nuggets to throw in there, as baggage, to the trade. But that's what I'm hearing. It's the second round pick is its trade value. And that's what they're getting so far. And, maybe that's why they haven't moved on him yet. I would just say that. Anybody want to speak on that just briefly before I get to a few more comments?
Yeah. Don't do it. I would not want to lose that 39 and 41 is a special thing. You can really do some damage even with trading back and forth in that particular area of the draft. It is the sweetest of spots. I would not jeopardize that. Now, I might throw next year's second at it or next year's third, but here's what I'd really like to do. What I'd really like to do is make Trey Hendrickson part of a trade back package with Cincinnati. That's what I'd really like to do. I want to throw that out there in the winds now. I would like Cincinnati's 17, 45, and Trey Hendrickson for our 10th pick. And maybe something in 2026, a 2026 third rounder, fifth rounder. That's what I would like.
What say you, FFG, briefly?
That's actually pretty good, Kedz. I didn't go there, but I was thinking more of I'll trade back to 17 and I'll give you a 5th round next year or a 6th round. And now I still got a 1st round draft pick that I can still trade down, keep my 39 and 41, and still be able to make moves.
Okay.
In this year's draft with a star pass rusher, that's one less thing I got to worry about up front.
All right. Let me get to another question. Cornell Bryan says, "Hey, Nomad, when do we get the draft pick for Keenan if he leaves?" That is another good question that I don't have an answer to, man. I don't know how that works. I really don't know how that works.
Me either.
I know there's some kind of pick associated if something. I can't remember. I know I heard something about it, but I don't. I wish I could tell you, man. Cornell, I don't know.
I can tell you. It's about how much we spend this year in free agency, about how much we lost from last year as far as that pick is concerned. So let's say at the end of free agency last year, we only had $12 million left, right, by signing Keenan Allen. But this year we have $17 million. That means we didn't lose out. But if we only have $10 million, we lost out. So now we get that pick back.
So what you're saying is we got to spend some money.
Right. We have to spend the money because we have to show a loss by letting that money go.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough, man. Let me get to another comment here. A couple more. I got a couple more real quick. Let me see. Or at least one more. Here's a question. Vic Perez wants to know. He said, "Can we get a 5th for Bajent?" I'm gonna answer the best I can, and it's not to put Bajent down. I don't know that Bajent has shown enough that he's worth a 5th round pick. I know you like we've seen some really good players go for 4th and 5th round picks, and Bajent just hasn't been on the field enough to warrant a 5th round pick. You get a 6th, or if you get a 6th, you just hit the lottery. You get a 7th more than likely if you trade. That's just my thoughts on Tyson Bajent. Not that I don't think he's a hell of a football player, but when you haven't put enough on the field, you know, if he had more of a resume, then we can probably have you starting to move up that echelon a little bit more. But that's just my thoughts on it. What do you guys think?
Bro, I mean, you don't agree on everything all the time. I think that's if there's one thing that Nomad at Night has proven. But I think we're on a lockstep on this one, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Bajent just simply hasn't been on the field enough. Like I said earlier today, I would have loved it if they sat Caleb for a little bit and played Bajent strictly to raise his stock. That's really the reason for it, not to hurt. You know, raise his stock and protect the kid. That was really my 2 cents on it. Clearly, last season wasn't going to get much better, except for the Green Bay game, which he did show out in, and we won last game of the season. But like in any event, I wouldn't have had any problems with them sitting him down and playing Tyson Bajent just for the sake of raising that stock, so you can maybe get something for these talents that you're developing. For too many times do we develop talent. So, we don't want to pay you. We don't like you no more. And they get nothing for it. And then they got to figure out the position. Get something back for what you're developing. Ain't going to be a 5th right now. That much I can say.
I can't imagine anybody willing to trade a 5th round pick for Tyson Bajent unless they're desperate at this particular before the draft with a team that doesn't have a quarterback today, saying, "I'm going to give you a 5th round draft pick for Tyson Bajent because I still got to go out with my 1st round draft pick and pick a quarterback anyway." So that to me doesn't make any sense. If that was the case, hell, Jack Sanborn played better his position than he ever did, and we couldn't sign and trade him to get a 6th round pick today, and he was UDFA. Be honest.
Well said. Well said.
Another thing too is, like if Luke Getsy was still.
Right. If Luke Getsy was still.
I was about to say it too, and I just let it go.
Valuable because he'd be playing.
You're damn straight.
System quarterback, straight. Brock Purdy up the behind.
If he didn't get his ass fired in Vegas, right, on top of Chicago, if he didn't shit the bed on multiple occasions to get fired again, maybe somebody would give Tyson Bajent some money.
Bear Truth 9 says, nah, the Raiders offered a fourth for him last year, he believes. Just depends on team system connections. I didn't hear that, man. I'm not saying
that dude.
Hold on. I haven't heard that, Bear Truth 9. Not to say I'm not calling you a lie, I just haven't heard it.
I believe it.
If somebody actually offered, if they actually offered the Bears a fourth rounder for Tyson Bagent and they didn't take it, somebody need to be choked the F out inside that building.
His name is Ryan Poles, right? So, like, to be honest with you, I don't know if it was as rich as a fourth. I believe there was some level of draft capital offered to the Bears for Bagent, specifically and only by the Raiders because Luke Getsy was there. Let's make it real. That I believe had actually happened. There was a lot of rumors about it. There's no way it was as rich as a fourth, because I mean, my guy just blew a fourth on a punter. He probably should have recouped that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, here we are.
Well, FFG, he's probably we're gonna move on if you don't have anything else to say on that.
No, nothing more on that one.
All right,
no, I got you.
You don't have to, but I'm just asking if you did.
No, here's the thing. If the Raiders in fact did offer it, it was for one reason only that Kedz alluded to, which was Luke Getsy. Now, him being a system quarterback limits his ability to go to a lot of places because he's not fast. He's got a great arm. He's throwing a lot of passes. He ain't got the strongest arm. Not a great deep ball thrower. So he's going to have to be in a system that is on time a lot of the time for him and has to have a strong running game behind him. Well, so he's not going to be somebody that's real sought after that they're going to try to build up to be the starter on anybody's team today. They'd rather take a kid out of college to build him up unless you got the time, which is you're guaranteed the next 2 or 3 years to be the GM and coach and can be losing with him as your starting quarterback.
I would not classify him as a system quarterback, none whatsoever. And then his skill set translates in any system you want to put him in. He's mobile. He can throw from the pocket. He came into a West Coast system. He came from a West Coast system. Most teams in the league run the West Coast system of some type. He's not a system guy. I'm not going to put him in that category. I think his skill set definitely translate. You can run any kind. You can run spread. You can run West Coast. You can anything you want to do. You can do it with Tyson Bagent. I'm not going to put that guy down. And I know you weren't trying to, FFG. I'm just wanting to mention that. Like, he doesn't fit in that category as a Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is definitely a system quarterback. Definitely a system quarterback. You know what I mean? But
the reason why we couldn't afford to trade him last year, we had no backup because Austin Reed was a rookie. So that would have been disastrous for the Bears to even think about trading him midseason or otherwise. We wouldn't, if we thought we was losing before, we really would have been getting killed if he wasn't the guy that could step in and play.
Unalive, brother. Unalive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We would have been getting our butt kicked every week.
And when somebody's getting destroyed and you want to say the K word, you say unalive, bro. That's YouTube work. All right, let's get to what everybody came here for, and that is what the hell does everybody know? Maniacs, let me know if you are on your social media. Everybody needs to have their social media up and running. Got that page refreshed, whether you have Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever you do, have those things refreshed. Refresh that page, and let's see if there's any new news out there. Because I'm doing a podcast, I can't keep looking and managing the chat and talking. I can't do it all. So let us know what's going on out there in the NFL world. There could be moves going on right now. Now let's get to the thing, man, because we'll start low and work our way up. Now, let's go and get at it right off the top. And let's get at
challenges
this.
Got paid.
Oh yeah. I heard about that. Let's get at this, man, because I think the Bears, the fan base, is going to get quite upset if the Bears somehow don't come out of this thing with Drew Dalman. And I understand. I want to say that right off the top. I understand it. I just want to get you guys' thoughts before I start waxing on it. What do you guys think about this Drew Dalman signing? Do we need to do that? Why or why not?
Okay. One more time, I'm going to say stuff Bears fans don't want me to say. I don't think Drew Dalman is that big of an upside, that big of a lift from what we already have at center. If we cut Coleman Shelton, he becomes the number one center in free agency. So we're going to spend big money on a guy, and I've seen some of his snaps. His snapping can be shaky at times. I'm going to say very, very specifically, there's one thing that Coleman Shelton did not have a problem doing at the center position, and that's snap the football. He can actually snap it. Snaps it quite well. Can he block? I don't know. I'll be the realest guy there is. Clearly, there's some blocking issues, but is that all Coleman Shelton's fault? Or did it have a little bit more to do with Nate Davis missing half of the practices available and required, and him being out of sync with the guys beside him, right? And then Tevin Jenkins being hurt half the season, and now he's out of sync with the guy beside him on the other side too. And he's kind of just a man on the island in the middle, but at least he can snap. So let's take another step back and go, hey, remember Cody Whitehair? He was a great guard, and then we moved him to center. What was Cody Whitehair's problem? Couldn't snap the football, y'all. Couldn't. Snaps are going over people's heads. They were going under people's knees. It was an issue. He could sure block, though. Right? So I don't know how you win here. Right now, I think the win is that you got the two Pro Bowl guards. That's what I think the win is. Strangely, both of those two Pro Bowl guards could swap in the center. They both played center. You keep Coleman Shelton, and you also have Ricky Stromberg behind. Maybe you draft one too. That's my thoughts. I wouldn't do the Drew Dalman thing at all, simply because I don't trust the snapping. That's where I'm at. FFG?
Kids, your analogy sounds like this. Well, Bayless Jones was a great return man if he can catch the ball, but because he could run with it, that was great. But he
that's a great
catch the
analogy.
ball, so he can snap the ball, but he can't block after the fact. So it's just a backwards edition of that scenario. So did you really want Bayless, or was he great when he had the ball, and was running all over people and getting 50, 60-yard returns? But when he couldn't catch it, he wasn't crap, and you know it. So, a guy could hike the ball. That's a prerequisite for playing center. After the fact, that's where you do most of your money gaining, not hiking the ball. That's something you should learn in 10th grade and being perfectionist at it by the time you get all the way to the pros. So don't give me that. No. Yeah, I would like to get Drew Dalman. Hell, Will Fries or Evan Brown is available. I want to experience center hiking the ball and then can block after the fact. I don't want to do to just hike the ball. Hell, you get out there and do that. As long as you ain't going to block nobody, you tell me you couldn't get the ball every time to the quarterback, please.
All right.
I'm just
Give me
saying,
$3 million.
I'll
I'll get it to him right away.
Ain't good.
I know. Hey, FFG, can you turn your volume down, man? You very loud, man.
Oh, my bad.
Very, very loud. Yeah, you might either that or just back away from your computer a little bit. All right, so here's my thoughts on getting this guy. I here's what I think, and I'm just gonna give you, my personal thoughts after I say this. Somebody said, I think it was Scrolls that said it. I don't care who they get. Get if Ben Johnson, that's what Ben Johnson wants. That's his prerogative. Ryan Post, go get it for him. If he says he needs Drew Dalman, go get him. Number one, let me read a little background about Drew Dalman that people may or may not know. So he's got pedigree. I don't know if many people know about this. He's got pedigree. His dad was a center for the 49ers. He got drafted by the 49ers. His dad is Chris Dalman. Got drafted by the 49ers, and he played for the 49ers entire 7 years of his career. That's rare. That's rare, number one. That's pedigree for you. And he retired from the same team. I like pedigree guys. You know this guy, and he's the same position as his father. And the guy played at 287 pounds. I think that's incredible. Playing center against those. You talking about some big hogs back in those days when you're talking about, I think he played when I think Ricky Waters might have still been the running back of somebody at San Fran. And those are some big dogs that he was playing against in that defensive front. Some big dudes. And he was holding it down for 7 straight years as a center at 287. That's one. He's got pedigree. 2 is now there is some flaws to Drew Dalman's game. The best thing I could say about Drew Dalman is the best thing that he could do for his career, in my opinion, is to stay with that line that he has symmetry with in Atlanta. Those guys and that coach, they really know what they're doing. They're used to each other. They like playing with each other. They like playing for the coach, and you can see the symmetry there. I think if you take, like, the unit is better than the player, I would just say that. And so the entire line was a lot better than the individual play. And I'm not going to put Drew Dalman down, but that's just what I noticed when I looked at the tape. And so I think, and this is just my strange thoughts about it, I got a feeling that if you take him from that unit, I don't know if he's as good as he looked, to a lot of people's eyes. I'm not thinking he's as good as he was with that line, because remember, whoever we get, if it's a new person amongst a bunch of new players, it's going to take time to get symmetry. So we're going to talk mad shit about this guy for some time until they get some development and some symmetry amongst each other. Would he be a good pickup? Maybe. If that's what Ben Johnson wants, bring his ass on. My thoughts about it are, personally, I think we have a guy on the roster that I think can perform if he's healthy. And that is Ricky Stromberg. That's my opinion. Now, this is what I think Ryan Poles may have been thinking when he made that move. He knew that he was going to have to get a center, and he was going to probably have to draft him if he didn't run into the situation with Ricky Stromberg. Other than that, the center class in the free agency market, he's going to end up having to pay $15 million for a center. So you better have a plan B if you don't want to pay $15 million for a center, right? You need to have a plan B. So I think he executed that plan B late in the season when he picked up Ricky Stromberg. That's what I think he was thinking. He was thinking about that money he would have to pay for a center in the market. I don't know how y'all thinking about that, but I look at the sequence of how things played out. That's exactly how I saw it. He got ahead of that. He saw around the corner a little bit, and he grabbed Ricky Stromberg because he thought highly of him in the first place. He just got an injury and got into a bad situation. That's what I think he's thinking.
So I'm with you there. I like the other part of this that scares me is the money that folks are like. I'm sure y'all been refreshing Twitter this weekend too, but they're like, Dalman's like, they're gonna pay $20 million for Dalman. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but just a little. Like, this is the type of stuff they're saying about Dalman. I don't see that. And now, just going back to what you were just saying, so Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Ryan Bates, all have taken center snaps in the NFL. All of them. So and then you've got Stromberg in development, and if he's healthy, who can actually play the position and was one of the higher drafted and speculated centers in the draft a couple of years ago. Fell into our lap. You got 4 bodies there that can play that position if required. Maybe the end-all be-all isn't Coleman Shelton, and it's one of those guys. One more time, Ryan Bates was brought here to play center and didn't because Nate Davis is a jerk.
He ain't no jerk.
Okay, stop.
His attitude to practicing is straight out the jerk.
It's like you've been around. Hey, kids, I'll tell you one thing. You've been around enough locker rooms and played enough football. You can tell the people who love football and the people who just know it's just a job. Nate Davis is just like, I can do without it. You know what I mean? But they pay me well. And so I'm going to try to wiggle out of every little thing I can wiggle myself out of, but I'll be there for the game.
You know what the difference is, though? Like, the difference is, so Amen Agbagbamiga would be in there chomping at the bit, being like, yo, I'm about football. I'm playing. Why? Because he's only making a couple of bucks. The other man who's making $30 million, he's got $30 million contract. Like, oh, yeah, I could, I'd rather build houses. You know what I mean? I build houses in the offseason. I'm gonna do some contracting for the homeboys. You want some contracting done? Do some contract. You know what? I'm gonna skip practice. I'll build you a bathroom. and you pay me, $10,000-$20,000. Meanwhile, he's got a $30 million contract riding. Fine, you don't love football, I get it, but tell somebody Ryan Poles clue in and get him off your team. But long story short, there's centers there. I think we have some centers. I'm not sure if we need to go spend $20 million on a center.
So most of my thoughts are where else I see talent and why it's not totally necessary. So here's another way of thinking, Kedz and FFG. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you last time we talked about this, FFG, but I'm gonna say it again. Now, ideally, I've heard coaches, like my tight ends coach also coached the offensive line for Atlanta at one time. And so just listening to him talk, sitting around with him, he's talking about the symmetry, and he's talking about the alignment and who's playing what, where, having to have guys that are position versatile, all the kind of stuff you hear about all the time, right? One of the things that stuck out to me, he's like, you don't ever want to, like, if you're having a rookie center, this is something he told me a long time ago. If you have a rookie center, you better make damn sure you surround him with some real solid, grizzled veterans that can help bring him along pretty fast. Because if you got a couple of rookies standing next to each other that really don't know what the hell they're doing, you got disaster waiting to happen. Now, I think that's a good thing. Maybe we should think about it that way, is the fact that they paid those two veteran guards to come in here in the event that they have to go and get a rookie center and they can help bring him up. Those two guards are going to make him better anyways, by way of proxy. You know what I mean? They're going to make him better. And so that's another way to think about it. Maybe they sign those two guards because they know they're going to get a rookie center and going to ask him to start.
Well, they have one, right? Just to go back to where you were, they have one being Stromberg. The question is he healthy enough to do the darn job? Same token, they're paying one in Ryan Bates, and the upside at filling those two guard positions is now, where do you play Ryan Bates? You're paying him. Does he start on the line? Question mark. I think going to be I think the center position is going to be a competition between Ryan Bates and Ricky Stromberg. That's my thoughts.
I don't think you're off, Kedz. I don't think you're far off. I think they signed Ryan Bates, and they just had to wait till he got healthy. They know what he can do, and I think Ricky Stromberg. Ricky Stromberg came for a 30 visit during the draft. They coveted him.
Bro, he's good, bro.
Huh?
Healthy, he's good, man. He's a good center.
Oh yeah, he's the best one I saw in that draft.
Yeah,
there's some good centers in that draft. But go ahead, FFG.
Look, if Ricky Stromberg, I knew 100% he was healthy right now, ready to go for training camp, mini camp, and he was 100% ready to go, I probably wouldn't be as worried. But because he's yet to show that he can even step on the field in the NFL to play more than 4 games in 2 years, that's an issue. We're tired of the broke up linemen around here. So, yeah, it was me. Like Victor Perez said, Ryan Kelly is a great option from Indianapolis. So why not, or Evan Brown, why don't you get you a great starting center that's been playing in the league for several years that you can still draft, you can still bring Stromberg along, make sure he's as healthy as an ox by the time he takes over. Because you got him for nothing because he's making nothing and nobody's going to pay him. So you basically got a dude that you can keep at the Mamiga deals for the next 4 or 5 years. So nobody's trying to steal him from you because he hasn't shown he can be healthy. But you also let Doug Kramer, no ball carrying, no blocking behind, go because that was a waste of a draft pick over the time. He just showed he wasn't strong enough to play the position, just like the guy that we got playing in there right now. He was getting ran over too often for me as a blocker, or couldn't get in position fast enough even for the double team. So I'm going to draft me another center to be able to sit behind a veteran, and those two can battle out. The rookie and a guy that's trying to be a professional that's already been in the NFL just hasn't had the chance to get on the field.
Well,
so no, he's saying some good stuff there, right? So maybe a bit of a low wallet share stopgap veteran center, right? That might not be crazy either. But what that leaves the question one more time: what happens to Ryan Bates? Is he really just depth?
Nah, I think his ability to be able to swing is probably what you want. You know, you want a guy at both. You got two vet. Now you got three vet guards. You know, and three of them, all of them can swing. You know, it's not preferable to be trying to play Jonah Jackson at center, but we know he can swing if he needs to. But now you got three guys that can swing. You know what I mean? That's what you want in your centers or guards. You want to be able to cross train them all to be able to play either position. And so I think we're sitting pretty good. And
that's what I'm saying. We've got three cross trained guards, right? Who can all play center. Two of them are Pro Bowlers, right?
Here's what I think deep down. I think given his track record so far this offseason, knowing that Dalman was going to hit free agency if somebody didn't make the swing and make a move to try and get him from Atlanta, either they tried to and couldn't, or I don't think Atlanta's really going to let him out of there, to be honest with you. But I think they'd have probably tried to trade for Drew Dalman, and we'd already have him. But I just don't know, man. All I know is this. Whatever they decide to do at center, I'll be fine with it. As long as they got the right player. They think they have the right player. I'm gonna get in support of it. But just me personally, I feel like you can use those resources elsewhere and get better on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? Because the next thing we're about to talk about is should they sign one of these the top edge rushers?
Yes, they damn well should. So let's talk
about. I got a question before we jump to defense.
Okay.
Right now, would you keep
Pryor,
who was damn near going to retire last year for back problems, right? I mean, would you keep Bates, right? He was going to retire because he was all beat up. Or would you re-sign Pryor at much less money that not only a backup guard, but also plays tackle, which you're light at right now on this team where you need a swing tackle because we don't know how is going to come back super healthy. We don't know about Karan, whether he's ready to take over, and we probably have to draft one. So who would you rather have? The guard?
You're asking would I keep Bates or Pryor?
Yep.
My dollars and cents say you keep Bates because you already sold on him. You already paid the guy. You already paid him. So there's the answer for you. If there's a choice, if they're sitting there with those two, looking at those two, and there's the option of which guy do I have to keep or which do I let go, that's already answered for you. But we can get into that conversation. That'll take all night.
Bates right now and say $4
million. I know everybody has a lot to say about that, but we got to keep the ball rolling. We'll come back to it if we can. But let's talk about these edge rushers, man.
Free.
You guys already know how I feel about edge rusher. What'd you say?
No, KQ is right. You can cut him because his only money was guaranteed last year. You can cut him right now and save $4 million.
We done talking about that guy, man. We're gonna move on to the edge rushers, man. We're gonna talk about edge rushers right now and which guy should we sign a guy and which guy should we sign.
That's gonna be tough.
You already know how I feel, so I don't think I need to say a whole lot more about that.
Well, I think my list looks a little bit like this. Jeez. Trey Hendrickson, by way of the trade that I mapped out earlier today, back up, take your 10th, trade for the 17th and the 45th, and add something from next year to even it out. That's my take on the Trey Hendrickson thing. Chase Young is number 2. Definitely looking at Chase Young because, again, he's a free agent, no capital required. You just go pay the man, bring him into town. The next guy who looks, smells, and feels exactly the same, Josh Sweat. Bring him in, pay the man. I feel like the number of sacks will be a bit lower, but it'll make for one heck of a sweaty defensive line. You know what I'm saying? Then you bring in the next guy that I would have to talk about would be one everybody's talking about in the chat, and Illinois Jones is saying he's number 1, and that would be the return of the Mac. My big problem, just money. I don't know what he's trying to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's trying to play for, but he's 34, and that ain't changing anytime soon. the number of snaps he's going to take will be reduced. All right, guys. So like this is really the way that you have to look at it. He's going to be a rotational piece. Now, Khalil Mack as a rotational piece is still a dope ass rotational piece to have. Like it's one of the better rotational pieces you could ever have. But is it worth $20 million a season? I don't know about that. So we'll leave that up to Ryan Poles to figure out tomorrow. As far as the Scrolls is concerned, it's a done deal.
I'm probably with you in the first couple of things you said, Kedz, that I'm really willing to do the trade industry draft trade scenario, whichever one I can figure out that costs me the least or I get the most back. And then, Chase Young, he's still young enough. This is what I'm looking at. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want somebody who's going to be here for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I'm not going to sign a guy for 1 year, $10, $15 million just because he's still good at what he does, but we're not ready to win the Super Bowl. That's a waste of capital per production over time to me. The amortization sucks if you look at it that way. So if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to make sure it benefits me over a time period. And then I know a lot of people ain't thinking about old boy, but the guy from the Jets that was traded by Philadelphia, he's still available. He's a free agent.
Hassan Reddick?
Yeah. And if he's still young enough and he's explosive enough and he can play in this kind of defensive system because he has played the run well enough. He's not the greatest run defender, but if you're looking for a pure pass rusher on the other side, because that's what Khalil Mack's going to be. You're looking for a rotational piece. I'm looking for every down beast.
All right.
And that's my thing.
Number one, I think Hassan Reddick, he's a 3-4 linebacker / edge rusher. That's what I think he is, and not necessarily the fit that I think Dennis Allen's looking for. You won't find guys like that, I can't think of a guy that really played that role in any of his defenses. There was one guy, a white kid, number 56, but he was like a traditional stand-up linebacker who they used to, rush the passer at times when they blitz those kinds of packages. But like Hassan Reddick he's not a stand-up linebacker. He's an edge rusher, and he's an edge rusher for a certain system. So that's just me not trying to, downplay nothing he's saying here. I'm just saying, I just don't think he's a fit whatsoever when I look at it. Now, here's my thoughts about edge rusher. Number one, my preference would be to get Chase Young, reunite him with Montez Sweat, and I think you got dynamite waiting to happen. That's going to be explosive if you can get that back together. And he's only 25 years old. Just people should remember that. He's 25 years old. Now, here's the second part of this. I think Josh Sweat, all of those Eagles right now are going to be mad expensive. They just came off of a Super Bowl. Josh Sweat, what is he, 28, 29 years old? I don't know how old he is exactly.
I think he's only 27, but
okay. So when you look at it this way, this is what I think is going on. This is how I think they're thinking inside the building. They've already got Austin Booker, right? Check. We got a young edge rusher. They're going to draft another young edge rusher, guaranteed. Maybe one or two of them. It might be more than one, but they're gonna get an edge rusher in the draft, correct? Check that box. Why in the hell would you go and get anything other than a veteran edge rusher that you will only have to pay for a year or two just so you can get somebody in place before these guys really start to turn up and really Khalil Mack makes the most sense when you start thinking about it. Because otherwise, Austin Booker's never going to see the field if Josh Sweat gets here or Chase Young. And whoever else they draft in this draft class, it's going to be a while before they really see the field. You bring Khalil Mack in within a year or two, those guys are going to see the field because Mack won't be here. That's why Khalil Mack makes the most sense under the circumstances. And if I'm inside that building, knowing what I have on the roster, knowing what my plans are in the draft, why wouldn't you grab Khalil Mack for $15, $18 million? And he's not going to be a rotational piece. He's going to be a starter.
But $15 to $18 million, that's the problem. When you could get a call,
you're only going to be holding to that for a year or so, man. That's it.
But
That's
why
it.
wouldn't you not sign another player that's going to be here for a longer time period if
Because
you're only
I
thinking
just
that 1 year?
explained, because I just explained those other guys that they have on the roster. You got Austin Booker, and you're going to draft another player or two. They won't see the field if you got a young guy on the other side of Montez Sweat. They'll never get in there.
So here's what bringing in somebody like that allows them to do. They don't have to go and get the edge rusher this season, as in this draft. They can wait till next year, right? They can get the edge next season.
Now with the way it's stacked up in this draft, you need to get an edge rusher.
I like the edges this draft too. Personally, I think maybe they do that, but if you get a Trey Hendrickson, you're not beholden to that. It's the same answer as to, hell, we definitely need to get a guard this draft. Oh, wait, we got 2 Pro Bowl guards. I guess we don't need to get a guard this time. We can if we want to, but
you don't
need to. It's not a requirement.
Well,
right?
It'd be crazy not to get an edge in this draft. It'd be nuts not to get an edge out of this.
Right,
draft.
but injuries.
I kind of agree with the talent
line. So we need to build up, have more than enough. And that's what our problem has been. We've had less than enough forever and ever and ever across the offensive defensive line. So you need to get more than enough now so that when the future does come, you got waves. Just like that's how Philadelphia was killing people. They got waves of dudes. They can just bring somebody in and don't stop. Instead of we can notice a humongous drop-off every time we have to substitute, or when the star player is not on the field, it looks like crap, and then people just dominate us.
Well, I don't know. So I'm looking. The first thing I looked at was his actual snap count this season, this in 2024, and it isn't terrible as far as Khalil Mack is concerned, because that's really where we're going down right now. That's the road we're driving now. He had 616 snaps this season, played and started 16 games, which is quite a bit for Khalil Mack. But guess what? He started all 17 games in 2023, started all 17 games in 2022. In both of those seasons, had a fair amount more snaps. That's not terrible. The question is, one more time, what are we paying for a 34-year-old man? Like that's the question. And I would really hope it's somewhere in the ballpark of $12 million. That's what I would hope.
You know what? I think if you turned on, and this is just what I would challenge anybody listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, and I'm not, these are my guys, man. I'm not trying to put nobody down, but I guarantee you, anybody that takes the time and just looks at Khalil Mack's San Diego, his reps, and look at some in Chicago. Go and look at compare and contrast. Khalil Mack, let me tell you something. He's the same player. And I think he's going to be the same player till he's 38, 39, or whenever the hell he decides to quit. That's what kind of player Khalil Mack. He's a freak. Bro. He's like Julius Peppers could have kept going for another 2 or 3 years if he wanted to. He just freaked out like that, man. Some people just win the genetic lottery, and you see no drop-off. Khalil Mack had his best season either in 2022 or 2023. I keep explaining all the time, like some of these guys, especially these defenders, these defensive linemen, they just get, even offensive linemen, they just get better and better and better over time. And if they can stay healthy and if they're built right and they take care of their bodies, just forget about the age. Think about the play. Think about the caliber of football player you're going to get in here. You get so locked into the age, you're going to miss the bigger picture. I'm telling you, this motherfucker is the truth. Still, kids, I'm telling you.
I agree with you to a degree, but I also disagree with the age portion. You can't ignore that. And the reason I'm saying you can't ignore it is 2 of the seasons that he spent here, he was clearly injured, especially 2021. 2021, he played 7 games, started 7 games, 315 snaps. He's 4 years older than that now. You know what I'm saying? He's getting up in age. He's going to get hurt at some point. If he can survive the next 2-3 seasons injury-free, I'll be super surprised. He plays a very violent sport in a very violent position. Odds are he's going to miss some time here and there, right? Like it's just facts. He's an older guy. I'm an older guy. My stuff don't work the way that it used to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure his stuff ain't working the same way, but you hit the nail on the head with something, and it was only 2 years ago that he had a 17 sack season, 2023. So it isn't that far removed that he can do something similar.
I think he did that 2 times in the league, kids, as a matter of fact. But I wanted to
he didn't, but like there's like, you know what I mean? Like his numbers are still better than anything we have on our line, period. Like systematically, even the I gotta laugh at it. So 7 games, 7 started, 315 snaps, still pulled 6 sacks out of that. Like that's pretty crazy. He had a sack a game and then fell off for the rest of the season. That was his last season with us. All right. 17 games, a sack a game. That's pretty crazy. If he can do anything, even 50% of that, which is his average for the rest of his seasons, that's a huge boost to this defense. The question remains one more time: does Khalil Mack want money, or does he want a chip? Does he want a ring? And if he wants a ring, I think he's in a great place and position to do it back home with Chicago.
Kids, let me say this too, man. Also, to be noted, this is for you, Timothy Bazemore. He says, "Kids, I love you, man." He said, "But 12 million, he's one of the best pass rushers in the game, bro." Let me tell you something, Tim. Kids will go do something very nice for a homeless man. He sees us over there hungry. He'll go there. He'll eat half of that sandwich before he gives it to him because he thinks that's costing fish.
I'm trying to say real stuff. I know you're joking. They're asking $23 million for a 34-year-old man. That's crazy. Von Miller's on the market too. Should we pay $50 million for Von Miller? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy talk.
Von Miller ain't nowhere near as productive as
bro. Yes, he also hasn't experienced anywhere near the amount of injury that Khalil Mack has.
Man, please.
The guy's won multiple. He won a Super Bowl for sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Von Miller's. There's no joke about Von Miller here either. He could also be a contributor here.
So kid,
should we throw $30 million at Von Miller?
So you think this would be a huge mistake if they gave Khalil Mack anything more than $12 million?
Yeah. No. That was the $12 million I said in the ballpark of. $12 million is on the low, right? If they paid him $15 million, I'd be happy with it. You can't be upwards into the $25 million for a 34-year-old man who might only be playing with you for 2 seasons. That's crazy talk. It doesn't give you the freedom to really manipulate his contract as you would like, as they did for 5 solid seasons here, stretching things out. Just, you don't have that same leverage. You don't. Just a shorter time frame. So, that's what I'm saying.
Kids, can I interject?
Yeah.
All right. So you said 2 years ago, Mack had 17 sacks, right? 1 a game. Mm-hmm. What do you have last year? 6, right?
6.
Yeah, and he played most of the season. He was hurt a little bit.
Look at the rest of the stats, man. You can't look at this.
The problem is he had Joey Bosa on the other side most of the time he played in San Diego. So they had 2 formidable defensive ends, and so he looked great. Now, he'll probably make Sweat a lot better, but if you're really going to develop any young players you have, he can't start. He have to be a rotational player, because if you're just having him out there on passing downs with aim first and second down, then he's less effective.
That guy is not going to rotate in this if they pay him anywhere upwards of $10 million, and it's going to be more than $10 million.
And that's what I'm saying.
He's going to be a goddamn starter, and if they sign him, you're going to be happy because we got Khalil Mack, and he's bad as shit. And all this hemming and hawing about, how old he is and, how much to give him, he's never going to be here no longer than 2 years. If they give him that, it might be just a 1 year and done. Could be just that. But if they gave him 2 years, I wouldn't be mad. Or gave him some kind of balloon to get out if he wanted to in the second year. Great. Fixed his contract up in a way where they can get out of it in the second year. Great. But if he wants to come to Chicago and he wants to play for Chicago, you should get happy that motherfucker's going to be on the other side of Montez Sweat. Give him a little money. Give him a little money.
Also looking at this.
Little money. We're talking about.
We're talking about.
You know how much cap room they have right now? We're talking about basically 50%, if not more than that, of the cap. Looking at his market value.
I prefer Chase Young, but I know that it might not go down the way I want it to, and I'm just preparing you guys for the eventuality that I do look at a lot of reporters' takes, and it sounds like they're hot on Khalil Mack right now.
Right.
And I can understand
Chase Young. We pay Chase Young younger
because Chase Young is young, and they're going to draft more edge rushers. But Austin Booker will never see the field if Chase Young is in this building. Not only him, the edge rusher that I know they're going to draft will never see the field if they got Chase Young in the building. You sign Chase Young, you better sign him for the next 3 to 4 years.
So,
because I know that's what he's going to want.
My question is now: how does Dennis Allen how does his rotation work for defensive edges, things like that? So we're going to see who can see the field or not. Now, if he plays his starters 80% of the time, then no, they won't. But if they get 60 to 65% of the time, them dudes can actually make a name for themselves. So we could have, whoever we draft coming up in the next couple months, we can have, that we drafted last year be effective and have more playing time to be able to be let loose, because we are now playing, man coverage in the back and let the linebackers come downhill to clean up the run. So those pass rushers can be going all out every down compared to how they have to play now, where they're more sit back, contain type of defense than we used to play under Eberflus.
I love, I be honest with you, man. As much as I love Chase Young, and I just love the duo of Chase Young and Montez Sweat, and the force and they play with so much force and power. It's so overwhelming when you look at those two guys on film. I'm telling you, when I think about Khalil Mack, I'm just like you guys when it comes to the player and what he can bring to the table. It's going to be boss. It's going to be boss. Khalil Mack will not let you down in that regard. It's when you get into the thinking about the age and how much you're paying them for how long, all that gets it kind of. But the story is more intriguing to me. Like that is like the most gangster thing you can think of. He goes from here to there and back to the Bears to really finish it up, and then he gives the game away to the guys that are coming up beneath him. I think that's a boss ass story, man.
I like it too.
I love it, man. I love it.
Here's what I would do if I was Ryan Poles, and I had to wrap my head around this because Illy came out and he's like front loaded two-year deal, and I was like, they don't really have the kind of, bread to do that right now. They're spending a lot of money, y'all, and you got to sort of look at it, and guys like Kyler Gordon, et cetera, are going to be looked at for extension this season. So they got to work the magic the right way, but maybe like. I would be pleased with a $30 million contract, 2 years, all front loaded. Just pay the man his $30 million tomorrow. Boom.
Hell no.
I know it's crazy. Like what I'm saying is crazy, but he gets the money. It's not a backloaded situation where he's got to sit and wait for it. Give him the whole pie. They can afford to do it. It's gonna hurt, but they could afford to do it. Paying him $15 million a season, basically, that's what it shakes out to, and I think it would work, right? Like I don't think he's in my opinion, he's not a $50 million human being anymore. At 34 years old, $50 million also comes with some level of assurance that you're going to be on the field, and I don't think you can assure that at 34. That's a simple science there.
Shout out to Alan Pena. Just
right, that's what I was going to say.
But
what am I smoking?
Okay,
no, he's like new. I've never seen his name before.
So to be clear, to get you guys on the record, you ain't got to wax poetic. I'm just going to recite what I thought I heard. Sounded to me like, Kedz, you are in the game when it comes to swing that trade for Josh Sweat, right? That's your priority. You would love to see that happen, right?
No,
that's what you said first. Now.
No. I said the first guy. The first guy I said was actually Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson. Okay, my bad. I got that wrong. So you said swing that trade for Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
So remind me one more time, FFG, who's your first guy? Just tell me who it was.
It was the same deal. I was willing to trade down with my number 1 draft pick to pick up their 17th to get a
I
Trey
need all
Hendrickson.
that, man. I just needed the guy, man. I just need, you said the guy.
You said Hendrickson as well.
All right. So that's what we trying to get at. Me, my preference is Chase Young, but the reality, I think it could be, I want to see Chase Young, but that's just me. But now we do have defensive tackle to address. Now I'm gonna start from the top and start moving down a peg or two. Now, Javon Hargrave was released from the 49ers, man. Big dog. He costed them about $20 million, $20+ million. I don't quote me on the number, but I know it was 20 or up $1 million a year. And they signed him a year or two ago, and they already cut him,
2
because
years.
so they signed the contract and had a clause in it to get out in the second year, and they got out of it. Javon Hargrave is an interesting name. Let's just stay there. What do you guys think about Javon Hargrave? Nothing.
Well, you see what I'm saying, man?
Support.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just saying, like, we need a DT. We definitely do. We need some support there. And if we throw the redonkulous bag we were just talking about at Khalil Mack, I think you got to get some savings with the Khalil Mack move. I think you just have to get savings. If you do, you can really bolster this line with a guy like Hargraves too, or maybe John Allen. I know I'm jumping names here, but the dollars and the math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? Like the math don't math. It just doesn't. I would be interested though in a Hargraves. I think he would definitely help us shore up that position. Personally, though, I will say something else here, and it's just that the tackles in this draft, the defensive tackles in this draft, are pretty crazy. Like it's a really deep DT draft, in my opinion. So maybe you just avoid it and you double down or you drill down in the draft.
All right. First of all, when we came on Nomad, you was happy about the tender, right? To Chris Williams.
Very happy about that. Right? Let me tell you why, though. Want me to tell you why?
Well, but I'm just saying he plays the same position. So if we're going to keep him, why pay the Hargrave, who's had injury history at the Niners after he left Philadelphia? And now you draft a guy for nothing, it's going to be just as good.
Slow down, brother. You muddying up what I'm thinking. You should probably ask me. So Chris Williams, if you look at enough of his tape and the reps that he did this year, I'm telling you why I think they offered him a contract and they wanted to tender him, because he showed some flex. Chris Williams he's simply a 3-tech on by standards of defensive tackle, but he showed some flexibility where he lined up out wide as an edge rusher. So he's 6'3", like 300 pounds, like maybe 302, something like that. But he showed he's athletic enough that he can give you reps at edge rusher, as opposed to a guy like Hargrave. Don't mix those two up. Hargrave is probably in a regular weight, more of a nose tackle than he is a 3-tech. And so those two guys, I mean, you got to understand the roles that these guys are going to play. Like Hargrave and Chris Williams, they're in two different categories, bro.
Well, you also got pulling forward that you already re-signed. So now the draft, it looks a lot more advantageous going forward, that you can get a young piece for a lot cheaper, and that we have a great coaching staff now that can coach up the defensive line. So why pay a guy of that stature that used to be great and as of late hasn't shown that same prowess? That's all I'm saying.
All right, so it like in my opinion, if we spent money in free agency at defensive tackle, my money would be, if they did it, they'll go in the first or second day at 3-tech. If they want to get some backup behind Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens, they'll do that probably in the second day.
Why 3-tech?
Well, because you still need depth, and you might have question marks about Zach Pickens. Now, nose tackle, I'm gonna wait to probably day 3. Now, if I'm gonna get a 3-tech, it's probably gonna be somebody that I know knows what to do. It's gonna be somebody like Sheldon Rankins. If I'm gonna spend some money there, that knows Dennis Allen's system, that's a very strong probability they could offer Sheldon Rankins a little bit of money. How much money, I don't know, but Sheldon Rankins is an immediate fit and will do work at the 3-tech spot. If they feel like, they can't wait for Zach Pickens to emerge, then they'll do that. Now, my money is they'll get a bigger guy probably in day 3. And I'll tell you a guy to pay attention to, a guy by the name of Leki Fotu. He's a big 335-pound defensive tackle that got drafted to Arizona. Then ended up getting traded to, well, not traded. He hit the free agent market and ended up with the Jets last year, and he's going to hit the market again. This is a guy I think you can work with, and you don't have to ask him to be a starter. He'll be a rotational piece. And so my thoughts are just simply like, it really roils my spirit to see how bad we got run against last year. And I just want to see him do things to really shore it up. And if that means getting a bunch of big boys, get some big boys. But don't let that shit happen again. That's my problem, but that's what I would do if it's me. I do think they'll make some kind of move. They did tender Jonathan Ford too. I don't know if you guys heard about that. I think we did a podcast since then. They got Jonathan Ford back on the roster, man. I love that, but I do think they still need to get some more guys in here so there's good competition at those spots, man. I don't think we were thick enough at all on our defensive front. They definitely need to do something there.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. I really like the class. Like, I really have to say this. I really like the class this time around. As far as defensive tackles are concerned, both that nose and at 3-tech. I think there's some really interesting characters with respect to that particular position. And I was weirded out by the double down the first time around. I would be much less weirded out this time. Right? If they got one more 3-tech and one more nose in this draft, I think that would be well served as opposed to even looking at free agency to square this thing away. Because you still got Andrew Billings, and he will be starting in that role.
Yeah.
If he ain't starting in that role, I'm going to be so mad because my dude was the dude. He held it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did. So get him a little bit of a rotational partner, as well as, somebody to backfill him if disaster strikes. And maybe you really just looking at the chat, man, the chat's, I hate to say stuff like this, but the chat's kind of out on Zach Pickens, and I really don't blame them. I have no animosity towards that feeling, because he is yet to really make his impression felt in that role on this team thus far. So,
can I speak to that real fast before I give a shout out?
I was gonna get him.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Ashton Jackson, the first guy. For his first podcast, he's jumping in for the first time. Shout out to Ashton Jackson. Salute, my guy. Number one is, I said this, it's almost making my head hurt trying to say this. Matt Eberflus misused Zach Pickens. He didn't get them quality depth at nose tackle, and so he forced Zach Pickens to play out of position. So why people feel that way about Zach Pickens, and they were expecting more. And to understand why they didn't get more is to understand that he's been playing nose tackle for most of his reps, and he's a 3-tech.
Fair.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it went. I thought it was misuse of resources to not make sure you didn't shore that nose tackle spot up and have to force Zach Pickens to play it. And see, that was just one of the things that I highlighted, because you remember before the season.
No, I'm with you 1,000,000,000% on this one, because for a minute, when Billings was healthy, they would rotate Pickens and Dexter more frequently, and you would see him taking 3-tech reps, and he wasn't terrible at in that capacity. So and KQ was saying he's built for 3-tech. He is. I think they really need to make that rotation a thing. My problem is now, I have a feeling they're going to maybe get another one in this draft. And if they do, who wins, right? Who's the guy? I hope it's still Dexter, but who wins between Zach Pickens and the rookie? I don't know.
Probably Pickens, man. Another thing to point out, you probably heard Flu say this a couple of times. I can remember him saying it.
Hey,
But-
shout out to Monte Legon as well, man.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm seeing this name in the chat. Big ups to you, brother. Thanks for
I've seen
coming.
a bunch of and shout out to all the people that's joining the podcast for the first time and live chatting with us. Come more often, man. We need to see y'all more often because I know it's a lot of people that watch it and don't chat live. But I'm glad you guys. I love to see you guys in here. We all do, man. It's great. It's great to see y'all. But and what was we talking about, man? I just had a brain fart.
Oh, well,
talking about Zach Pickens.
Yeah.
Talking about Zach Pickens. The thing about defensive linemen is like in college, man, it's a very simple game, man. You know what I mean? You might be playing against a guy that ain't even gonna get a tryout for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Some of those guys ain't gonna even sniff the NFL. Versus every week in the NFL, you're gonna be playing against toolsy, experienced, savvy veterans that get paid millions of dollars to stop your ass from penetrating that offensive line. Every single week, ain't gonna be a week that goes by you ain't gonna deal with. They know what to do with your ass. And what you have to get better at, and it might take a couple, 2 or 3 years for you to get there, is get your tools up. To learn the tools of the trade to be a great professional at your job so that you can get a bite at the apple when it comes time to get your money. By year 3, you better have them tools in your bag and some urgency because year 4 is coming real fast and you're going to be looking to get some money. And so I do expect a significant jump from Zach this year. I do, if they play him at his normal position. But this is when it gets good for Zach Pickens. If they put him at his right position and just let him eat and not have to, man, double teams and shit like that playing nose tackle, you're going to see a different Zach Pickens. Whatever you think you thought about Zach Pickens, if they play him more at 3 tech reps, we'll have a whole different conversation. I put my money on that.
All right.
All
FMG.
right, so you guys are hitting the nail on the head constantly back and forth, but I see him as the same situational screw up as Noah Sewell. That he's fighting out of position for his strengths and what he can bring to the football field and how they're playing the defense while he was in it. Instead of taking advantage of what he can do, they're trying to put him out of position so he doesn't look as good as when he came in from college, because that's not what he does. And so when you keep putting people out of position and you're not coaching them up properly to play those roles, you're not going to get an effective player. I think Dennis Allen already understands where everybody goes, what they can do, because he's watched the tape. Because remember, he got fired in November. So he's been watching everybody. You know what I'm saying? He knows what a lot of teams' rosters look like because he's had to play against most of them and probably scout them for the last 2 or 3 years easily. So once he says, okay, I'm going to get a hold of these people. And Action Jackson, way to go with that $20, man. Thank you so much for contributing to the
Action Jackson.
Appreciate
you,
the action, man. We definitely appreciate you. We thank you for blessing us like that.
And that's really what we're going to find out about this coaching staff, about the players that we thought were not doing as well, not performing as well, how they're being utilized. And that's where we're going to see who is coaching who, you know what I mean? And see who's a bum and who ain't. Because I really think we had a lot of great signings and picks, but they haven't been used the right way, so they don't seem as productive and as prosperous for the team's success as we would like.
I know I can tell you something else too, man. I looked at Zach Pickens, this film. I looked at every last one of these guys right after the season was over because I knew that with Chris not being here, this whole draft and knowing these players and doing graphics on them and making sure that we can do shows and know about all of this stuff. My shit was just double, and so basically, the first thing I did before I started getting into the players. And I'm talking about the draft players, is I looked at the roster and I broke it all down. I looked at the films, all 22s. And there was times we talking about Zach Pickens. There's a lot of flash plays with Zach Pickens at times. When he got out there and got some edge reps, it didn't happen until Javon Dexter started getting a little bit hurt. Every now and again, you know, they play him and Zach Pickens, Dexter and Zach Pickens, and you see some flashes. And so it's there. It's there. My only thing with Zach Pickens is, and I think KQ might have mentioned this earlier, one thing I question about Zach Pickens is his drive. I don't see the dog I'm looking for. I'm looking for the dog, and I don't see it. He'll at times it's just like he don't have the fire and desire, and he'll get pushed around a little bit and kind of give up. It's like that part of it. It's like somebody has to ignite him. He's got to be ignited somehow, and somehow we need to see the best part of Zach Pickens. What I like about bringing Dennis Allen and these position coaches in here, you check them out and do the research on their backgrounds. The system, number one, is going to definitely benefit what Zach Pickens can do well, and that's really get off the ball and really get upfield. And that's what they're going to ask. Even the nose tackles, they're not asking those guys to man gap, two gap as a nose tackle and be trying to pull up. They're telling every last player, if it's 4 down, every last one of y'all get up the field and try to erase that line of scrimmage. That's the beautiful thing about when you look at the details of what Dennis Allen wants to do. This is perfectly suited for every one of those guys on that defensive line to really, really eat, as opposed to what, you know, basically what Coach Flus was doing. Sometimes it just didn't make sense, man. I'm telling you, you guys are going to love with the pieces that we have inside the building now. And when they onboard all these rookies, UDFAs, which we'll talk about here in a second, this is going to be fun to watch. This is going to be fun to watch. We're going to have a plethora of dudes that can get after the quarterback. The interior tackles, the edge rushers. There's going to be a bunch of dudes that get downhill fast. And that's the idea in his defense, is whatever you do, just be lightning ass fast about it and be fast. If you get it wrong, just be fast about it. That's the feature of his defense. And so whatever we think about all these guys on the roster, just imagine that getting multiplied time about 5 or 10 with Dennis Allen as a coach. He just wants them to be fast, strong, and violent. That's all he wants. Forget all the technique stuff. Just get up the field, man. That's what you want.
Well, we'll see if Pickens can fit that bill. Hopefully he can. I know we did see a little bit of it last season, but same token, they may be in the market. Only time will tell. Got a little bit longer to figure that portion of all this out. But like I say, that these tackles look good. Some notable names. I know Illy Jones was asking about nose tackles. I'd say Tyleik Williams is my top. I also like
Talking about in the draft.
I like Ken Grant and Deion Walker, because Deion Walker, I know you don't like Deion Walker as much as I do, but he's 6'7". He fills the hole just by being there. You know what I mean?
Did you see the latest one that I put out, the big nose tackle out of Georgia Tech, Zeke Biggers?
Yeah, I watched that one actually.
You think you was looking at Khalil? I mean, you'll think you was looking at Akeem Hicks.
That's actually a really good comp, to be frank with you. That's a really good comp for Biggers. Biggers is much further back in the draft, but I think he's one of those guys that you want to put on that nose tackle list if you're getting deep into the draft and you're still looking for a nose tackle. But there's a few of them, man. Who else? Omar? No, not Norman Lott. Alfred Collins is another guy, 6'5", 332. Big boy.
Let's finish up free agency, man, because there's a plethora of dudes. I put a name in the chat, and I don't know if you guys got to see that. There's a guy I mentioned about 5 or 10 minutes earlier. We're talking about defensive tackles and potential. This guy named Lecky Fotu that I just started watching tape on 2 days ago. And I don't even know how I find time to be watching this shit, all these college guys I'm doing. But Lecky Fotu, he's on the free agent market, man. He's a big, huge dude that's got nothing but upside. Only problem I see with him is he gets up a little high, but that power kind of, because he's so big and strong. I'll put his name in there one more time so you guys can go check him out. That's the name. I just typed it in there. Go check him out. Just go look at some Lucky Fold tape. Anybody that looks at it is gonna be like, well, damn, I can see what you mean. It's this guy got some upside. It's just, you get guys like that, you onboard them on the roster, you let them compete with Jonathan Ford and get him in the mix with Billings. You're probably going to draft a big guy like that too. So you got 4 guys in that, fighting for a job, as opposed to we didn't have anything but one effing dude the whole entire offseason. And it just bothered me the whole time we were watching and doing these shows, man. It was just like, Lord, what is wrong with these guys that they didn't know that they didn't have enough big dudes to plug up this run game? That probably bothered me more than anything I saw the entire season.
And that was a defense staff that was in here prior to what we have now. And so what you're looking at is, I guarantee Dennis Allen knows exactly what he wants. And I'm pretty sure he's already been in Ryan Pohl's ear. Like, look, I know you got the offensive line to square away. I'm with that. But what I need is over here, and we can get this dude for cheap, or we can get this dude at a premium price, but we're not going to have to give up too much. We're not going to trade away our whole draft trying to get one player, but I can get you a couple quality pieces that we can mold into something so we have a rotation plus the guys on my list that we're going to draft. And I think that's how it's going right now, because he knows he's coming with his choices for what he wants in free agency and the draft.
Talking about those D tackles, I know exactly what Flus was thinking. He wanted to be a little bit more athletic, a little bit lighter, a little bit faster. That's what he was thinking. He was just like, okay, we got Billings. Let's just get a bunch of dudes around him that can be really athletic and really fast. And I think that came back and bit him, man. You got to have, like, Billings is a big, strong dude, and he never really misses games. Like, that's like the first time I can remember him getting hurt since he's been in Chicago, was that one time that he got hurt and missed the rest of the season. Now, he might have been hurt and missed a game or two. I don't remember, but Billings is very durable, very reliable. And I think they banked into that a little too much, man, and it cost us later on. But
another thing, though, that Billings is that most people aren't, he's one of the top 2 or 3 strongest people that play in the NFL today. So that's the reason why he can take on them double teams and get penetration, because he has a power that nobody else possesses. And it's hard to replace that. And for them not to have anybody that's even close was a mistake up the for the Bears organization, period, not to have the quality rotation on the defensive line. And because you're trying to play a guy that behind him out of place, you wrecked him in 2 different ways. So when he had to play, he was getting ran over because he couldn't be that kind of guy, because that's not the power that he possesses. His is more speed to power and a couple moves that he can get in the backfield. So, yeah, I would love to see us be able to pick up somebody for a lot less money and still draft a stud. So that position is going to be a strength rather than a weakness. Same thing about the defensive offensive line. I want to get as many of them as we possibly can. So when the cuts come down this year, or who goes in the practice squad, is really going to be a quality player.
All right. I'll tell you what, man, because I was going to go a little bit further, but we've been on here for 3 hours and almost 15 minutes. Thank you to my guy, Super Chat. Let me pull that back up.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. My bad. My fault. I'm going to get you. I got you, Action. That's the first time, man, but I appreciate you. Shout out to you for giving us the Super Chat, man. We appreciate everybody, the comments. Here's why we gotta pull the plug, because I'm going to have to go live tomorrow. I don't know who's going to be with me, but somewhere around time that tampering period starts, I'm just going to say somewhere between 11, 12-ish, we'll go live, and I might be live for a while, just to see what dominoes fall. Who's ever there with me, if there's nobody there with me, don't matter, because we're going to go live anyway, man. We're going to cover this stuff. We're going to see what happens, man. But we're gonna definitely do that tomorrow, man. So I gotta pull the plug so I can get some kind of rest. You know what I mean? So we can do that. It might be a long day, but let's talk some pleasantries. let's give out some pleasantries, kids, before we get up out of here.
Oh man, we're at pleasantries already because
Yeah, you
there's
was
a
over
lot
there
of
eating.
folks. Yeah,
Right,
I got
you got stuff
little
going on.
no, I'm just saying there's there's a lot of folks in the chat tonight, man. Chat was pretty crazy. We got a bunch of new folks, including Action Jackson. So we'll start by giving you a shout out. Thanks for coming through. I will second it with the Minister Charles Johnson. We will get you squared away next week. We want you on the show. We want to do this thing the right way. We'll get you in early. Try to chop it up in and around 8:30. Make sure that there's no technical issues and we can walk you through all that stuff as opposed to walking through it live on the show. But we love you, brother. We're glad to have you every single week. You are definitely a super no maniac, and you are in our hearts.
Straight, Minister Charles. We'll get you straight next time.
Yeah. We'll get things
There's like
straight.
get some poutine going on.
I wish, man. I just got these little peanut butter pretzel bites, man. They're pretty decent. Costco's the link.
You like a pregnant woman or something, man. My girlfriend eat that kind of shit.
Jesus. I hope I ain't having no babies. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna get nasty with it. I ain't gonna get nasty.
That's pregnant woman shit, man. What you doing, man?
I'm just getting a little snack, bro. Is that all right? Am I allowed to do that?
Only you got pregnant some poutine. I told you.
The kids just freeze up on us. I think kids just froze up.
Okay. All right, I'm back. So shout out to see Ellie Jones knows what's up, man. He's saying the pretzel peanut butter bites are the bomb. They're pretty decent, man. Pretty decent. You know what I'm saying?
That's a late night snack for married men.
Hey, hold on. So
my wife said she's sleepy.
Beartooth 9 wants predictions. I'm gonna give you my prediction. I think it's just hard to. It's gonna be Chase Young or Khalil Mack at edge. I think there might be a D tackle that we get a little bit earlier. You know, whether it's a nose or a 3-tech. You know, I don't know. Milton Williams is very, very intriguing right now. A lot of people want to talk about him, but if you watch Milton Williams play and you watch Chris Williams play, you're pretty much looking at the same kind of guy. Just saying. You know, Milton Williams came from nowhere. Chris Williams can do the same thing. Just saying. But go ahead, Kedz. Finish your pleasantries.
All right. So shout out to the Scrolls Astronom. Always keeping it hilarious in the chat, man. Straight up and down. Illy Jones, thanks for coming through. Lots of interaction from you tonight. Big ups. BT9, always good to have you. Shout outs to MC Fact. Hey, as we're going along here, so tonight was the inaugural multicast at Kedz the Canuck. Find me on YouTube. By all means, you can watch the show there, as well as here. That's how we roll. Again, shout outs to my guy Flex Diggs, who definitely kept it real in the chat. Reason that I went back to my channel is MC Fact is one of the guys who were out there already subscribed to me, him and everybody's favorite homeboy, the Real Bears fan, Chris Foster. Shout out to both of you guys for linking me up. Like, share, subscribe over at that channel too. Kenny Adams was with us today. KQ, Mad, a whole lot of interaction from KQ. He was with me. He, she, I'm not sure. They were with me. See what I did there?
I'm pretty sure it's a he, bro.
I'm just making sure that the politics is correct. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely in the chat giving it, and I appreciate it. Mr. Mayhem's with us. Shout out to you, sir. Pretty sure I said Flex Diggs, but if I didn't, rock and roll Flex Diggs. Nick Rembert was with us tonight, man. Lots of interaction from Nick Rembert as well. Timothy Basemore was in the chat doing the darn thing. Shout outs one more time for our guy Action Jackson, who came through, blessed us with $20. All of the support definitely helps the channel. We appreciate it. Lamonte Ligon, shout outs to you, man. Thanks for coming through. First time seeing you. Like, share, subscribe, become a Super No Maniac as some do. Who became a Super No Maniac today? I believe it was our guy, Derek Guy. Shout out to you, brother. Big ups. Who else we got out there? Victor Perez, all up in the chat. Bare minimum. First time I'm seeing you, bare minimum. Love the handle. By all means, like, share, subscribe, or become a Super Nomaniac as others have done as we move forward. Shout out to the Real Bears fan, Chris Foster. Big ups to you. Cornell Bryant was with us tonight as well. Alan Pena, what a do, Alan? Shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming through. Terrence Williams, big ups to you as well. First time checking you out on the channel. Like, share, subscribe, give us a little bit of love, and bless us with that respect on the way out. Trapper Keeper, shout out to you, dog. Oh, as always, AC Adam is in the building. Love it. Damon Dice with the Decepticon logo now. One of my favorite logos ever of all time. Cornell Bryant, if I said it before, I'm saying it again. Mally Mal. Shout out to Mally Mal. Thanks for coming through, dog. Appreciate it. Bears Junkie 55, Hall of Fame, represented with us. Who else we got out there, man? Who am I missing?
King Booker was with us.
Oh, King Booker. Shout out to King Booker. Terrence Fobbs, shout out to you as well. Again, another new head. Terrence, please like, share, subscribe. Give us that, get that notification for next Wednesday night when we do the darn thing on Extra Sauce with Triple R. Shout out to you, Triple R, and to Sports Chicago Style. Where else are we today? Barlissimo was down with us too. Thanks for checking us out from across the pond, Barlissimo. Check his stuff out too. Barlissimo is a draft monster, man. He really gets down into a lot of these players. He knows his stuff, so it's always fantastic to collaborate with him when we get the opportunity. So shout out to Barlissimo there too. Who else
You ain't
we
gonna get
got?
them all, kid. You ain't gonna get them all.
It's a lot of folks tonight, man.
We topped off at 388, bro.
Okay, so Marco King, there was Laz. Laz was with us. He's on my channel too. Osama Ben Johnson, probably the best Bears handle of them all. You gotta love that. Smitty Q is with us as well. Let me see if I can get a couple more before we get out of here. There was definitely a couple more. Oh, the Dr. Earl. Thanks for supporting the show, Dr. Earl, man. Black Diamond was with us. Petty Murphy. Doing the darn thing in the chat, keeping it lively. Rex Smith was with us as well. Marlon Johnson, Super Nomaniac. Marlon Johnson was with us too. And
Smitty Q.
Zach was with us there too.
Jay, I don't know. I didn't hear Joseph Archer. Make sure he's a Super Nomaniac.
I didn't mention Joseph Archer or the Nod. Shout out to the Nod as always. Joe Vizzo.
Derek Guy is our newest Super Nomaniac. Shout out to Derek Guy for jumping in there and helping us out like that. Love you, bro. Love y'all for the support, man. Just had to throw that out there.
Joe Vizzo was with us. Mark was with us. So was Legit Packers fan, FGB all day long. And I think that just about. Oh, Paul Martin was with us too. Just trying to see if there's anybody else. Swaggy McNolegs. I hope the chair works, bro. PJ, big shout outs to PJ. Thanks for coming through and giving us a little bit of love. Shout out to the guys over there at the BCP. The Clumsy Dad was with us for a little bit as well. Man, there's a lot of, like I said, I didn't realize we were hitting up. Ron Winarski was here. I didn't realize we were hitting up the end of the show here, pleasantries, because I would have sort of went through it one time first and got a bit of a list, because there was a lot of heads here tonight, man. And Dante Purify was with us. The upside is we're about to roll right into free agency. This week's going to be crazy. Cornelius Squalls, number 2 Nomaniac. Definitely got to give you a little bit of love. And Oh, White Ghost was with us too. Ron C, the Clumsy Dad. I think I said the Clumsy Dad or something.
Hey, kids, let me throw one in there. Let me just shout out the Super Nomaniacs, man, because I just want you guys to know, man, everybody that grabs a membership, just know it's going to the right place. You're doing it for the right reason, man. It's just helping us crank out more and more and do more. Everybody that can do it should do it, man, because you're going to be helping some good guys out there trying to give you guys more and more content. And so let me shout them out. Derek Guy, our newest Super Nomaniac. My guy Petty, Black Diamond, man. Joseph Archer, Minister Charles, Mo Fugra. It's Crimson, you dig. I didn't see him tonight. He's probably at work or something, so shout out to Crimson. Marlon Johnson, Miguel Goncalves, and my guy Terry Anderson, who can only come in here sometimes. I see Terry once in a while, but he's always a super no maniac, man. Make sure we shout out Terry Anderson here, man. He's one of our guys. My guy right here on the network right now, FFG style. Super
Yes,
no
sir.
maniac all the time, man. Love you guys, man. Appreciate all you guys for the support, man. Love
Yeah, King Booker as well.
Yeah, my fault.
The Hairiest Bear, Laval Nichols. There was a bunch of Ralph Love was with us. The chat was crazy tonight. And Jay, there was like 3 more I wanted to give a little bit of love to. Dennis Moody came through.
Illy, you an asshole sometimes. You know that, man.
Richard LaFleur, my guy Ricky keeps it real. And Romy, I think, is the last one I wanted to give a shout out to. So that should round us all out.
Oh man. Sorry,
we gotta get ready to get out of here, man, because my girlfriend is off.
Did I not say Bear Truth 9? If I didn't, one more time, Bear Truth 9. Shout out to you, man. You're good shit. You know you are. But yo, yeah, man. I think we're in for some real fun this coming week. Fingers crossed things go down the way that all of us sort of see it. Likely an edge rusher, maybe a center, maybe a defensive tackle, maybe a left tackle, maybe. It should be wild, especially just given what's going on here tonight alone. There's been a bunch of moves that we've somewhat ignored because they weren't major moves. But hey, Skrulls, go rub them feet, bro, and
right.
and try and poutine. Man, FFG, what do you got?
Oh, well, I thank everybody that joined the chat today. It was wonderful. There's so much, candor and information, and because everybody's about what they know about the Bears and what they know about the league, and what they know about players. That's what I love about this channel. I can never get enough of that. I'm tired of idiots you see on other shows that have no idea what the hell they talking about, just spouting off what the last reporter said and putting it in the chat. These people actually know what they're talking about. That's what makes it the best online presence for a podcast that I've ever seen. And y'all are the architects of it. So thank you for letting me in. As far as what's going to happen tomorrow, I really think, me personally, they're going to solidify that center position or an offensive lineman. I'm not sure exactly if it's – I seriously doubt it's going to be a left tackle because there's not enough of them out there. But I really think they're going to shore up that guard center position so they have a way to come in before they get to free agency. And they're probably going to shock a lot of people and get a safety to replace one of the 2 dudes that's already on the roster, one with 1 year left and one is always beat up that don't play. So
now, FFG, I will say that the free agent safety market is a little bit more. It's a little attractive if you want to go through the players. But you are right, man. That wouldn't surprise me, but it might surprise a bunch of people, man. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's just my opinion. I don't think we're even looking at running back. I don't think we're looking at defensive tackle, and defensive end might be the trade, or it might be a stopgap depending on what Dennis Allen thinks. But I really think he'd rather reunite with a guy that he drafted in the first place to, in his career, winning Super Bowls on a great defense where he knows the offense can put up points like he's been used to. His whole career.
You know that speaks to both Trey Hendrickson and Khalil Mack, right?
He didn't draft Khalil Mack. Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, in the Raiders. Yeah, he did. No. But Khalil Mack is much older.
He is.
There's
the reduction over time is what I'm looking at.
All right.
That's the only Khalil Mack is going to be going down in history as a Hall of Famer for his prowess. But he came to us a little in his prime, and we didn't win, and so he left, and he got older, a little more touched up, and he's been productive, and he's not been productive. So, but most pass rushers are great between 32 and 37. If you look at the list, it's ridiculous how many dudes have more sacks and production after the age of 30.
FFG.
Almost every Hall of Fame pass rusher in the top 20 right now.
I got a question for you. Are you gonna do the live show with me tomorrow when we go live for the free agency?
Yeah, I gotta go in the office early tomorrow.
Right. Okay. If you're gonna do that, this is pleasantries time. Give out pleasantries and stop being Ryan Poles, damn it. Give out
I said thank you.
you evaluating talent and
There's a lot
shit.
of people that came on for the first time.
Hey man, I hope you get this new job, man. I heard about that's what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're gonna do all that shit tomorrow, man. Come on now.
I just said I'm gonna be busy tomorrow morning. That's all I said. I'll be back by noon. But no, Action Jackson, Adam. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad to see so many new faces. This is what this culture is bringing people around to what we provide. And that's what you need to look at. We tell the truth around here. And it's evident about everybody and everything. And we don't hold punches. We don't sugarcoat shit about nobody for any team, even the Blazers are our team. And that's what I love about this. So thank y'all for this opportunity.
Man, thank you for being here, and thank you for always supporting everything we do, FFG number one. And I'll tell you that, offline, I'll tell you live right here on the show, man. We can't do none of this stuff without people like you, man. Just know you are appreciated just as much as you appreciate the content coming out of here. And this is my close. My closing is this. Thank every last one of you guys for being here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like it, and share it with your people, man. Because one thing I'm gonna tell you, and this is my close, and it's one thing I'm looking forward to is I know we're gonna get a whole lot better starting tomorrow, and moving forward as we get these on board these free agents, and then we move into the draft. Chicago Bears are about to get a whole lot better. We got a whole lot better coaching system going on inside this building. I know that for a fact. We're not perfectly set up yet. Now, we still have questions, yes. But let me guarantee you guys something. They went out and did the right things in this offseason. They went out and did the right things, and we're getting ready to set this thing up in a way I can kind of see what they're about to do, but I don't think anybody's absolutely perfect. I just do my best to try to predict which way they might turn if they're looking around the corner at this, if they're looking at around the corner at that. And that's what we do on the show. I know I do my best to try to put myself in the shoes of the people in that building and give my takes accordingly. I try not to go off and about what I want and that nobody wants to hear what the hell I want. People want to know, what do you think they're gonna do? And so that's my mindset when I talk. When you hear me talk, I'm trying to put myself onto the shoes of what Ryan Poles and the people in that building, the brass, what they're thinking and what they're trying to accomplish. And I feel like I do a decent job at it. I wouldn't say great job, but doing the very best that I can, and I'm trying to get better. And so what I want to leave you guys with is this, and this is just basically a thank you to every single person that watches the show, that subscribe to the channel, every Super Nomaniac, and everybody that enjoys this content. I'm going to guarantee you this. You've heard this your whole life. Pursue your passion, right? Pursue your passion. Whatever it is. I've lived my life. I've lived a long enough professional life doing all the things that I thought I should be doing in my life, trying to be, Tommy Time Clock. You know what I mean? Trying to go clock in and make money and do all the stuff, buy the house and do all that kind of stuff, the cars and having all these expenses that everybody accrues for themselves. I set this thing up perfectly. My home is paid for. I don't have car notes. I have bills. I have a girlfriend. I live a domesticated life. And I'm fortunate. And you all have set this up for me in a way that I can pursue my passions. The way that you all receive us, that is like milk, honey, everything you want. And when people receive your passion, I want you guys to understand how important you are to what we do. When people receive your passion, all it does is feed the fuel. And so if you love the Nomad Network because we give you nuanced takes on football and really give you in-depth insight, and you like the content, just imagine what happens when you continue to show the support and you give us what you got. I'm just going to turn around, and this network is going to turn around and just give you more and more and more, because we're going to reciprocate the love you give us. And this is just a thank you. This is just a thank you, just from me personally. And I know I speak from Kedz. I know Kedz feels the same way, and everybody on the network, we appreciate the support. So make sure you guys go out and support Kedz's channel, Kedz a Canuck. Go over there and subscribe to the channel, please. We have 388 people in here. So anybody that can hear my voice, please go stop over at Kedz's channel and show him the same love. Stop at Trips' channel. Go over there and support Sports Chicago Style. I mean, what is it? Is it Sports Chicago Style, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you support that. And so I just wanted to say thank you. That's my thoughts tonight. Pursue your passions. Anybody that hears me talk and us talk on this channel knows that we're passionate about what we talk about. First things first. I'm a lover of football. I was in love with football before I was in love with a female. That's just to tell you how deep it is and deeply rooted it is with me. Now, in particular, this Bears team, the love is the same love. And so I'm just over, the cup is overflowing right now with the thank yous. I just really appreciate you guys, man, so much. And I know I speak for everybody at the network. And I just wanted to say that to you guys. And before we get up out of here, don't forget, we will be going live tomorrow somewhere around 11, 12-ish. I can't say specifically what time, because Monday is really one of those domestic days you need to be going to take care of your business, first thing of the week. That's what I do. And so I'm going to try to get back in the house by 10:30, 11 o'clock and try to get this thing going live, man. And we're going to go live as long as we need to until the dominoes start to fall, until we feel they're finished. We're going to give you guys that content. So just want to say thank you one more time and leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are out.